Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special Fallout one-shot. For those who don't know me, hi there. I'm ELH, the Game Master, and joining me are several amazing role players, but we'll get to them in a moment. I first have to go over a few points of order as they try and make me laugh and lose my cadence. So let's start with the system we're using. So what we're using is Fallout 2D20. It is a newly released system from Modiphius Entertainment. And what I would say is that if you have played one of their other 2D20 systems, it should be fairly easy for you to pick this up. So if you're coming from Star Trek Adventures, from Conan, from Dishonored, very easy to pick up. On that note, though, we're probably going to go off script. I mean, it is all of our first live experience with the game. So if we get something wrong, just don't yell at us too hard. And you are free to shout advice to the players. Just don't give them spoilers. And if you need the reference, we are indeed playing the adventure in the back of the Core Rulebook, just to see how it plays and if it's a good adventure for newbies, etc., etc. Two more things real quick is I have to say this at the top of the stream is that Fallout, by its very nature, does deal with difficult topics sometimes. We're going to stay Twitch safe. We're not going to do anything TOS, but I do have to say that viewer discretion is advised. Last thing I got to say before my players can hype themselves up is that there is already a Discord out there if you are so inclined to come into the community, get a bunch of homebrew, things like that. There should be a link in chat and on the video on YouTube when the VOD goes up. But that's enough for me. Let's hear from my players, starting with the one and only Benosphere. Benno, take it away.
Hello! Did you want me to introduce my character, myself, both, or neither?
Just yourself for the time being. We'll do actual character introductions once we get into play.
All right, you got it. Hello, everyone. My name is Benosphere. I am a variety streamer slash local man that does local things. I'm slowly making my way into the world of live DMing, where I shall go and make campaigns and then have them torn apart by chaotic players who will absolutely take everything that I've built, burn it to the ground, piss on the ashes, make the ashes into a weird piss mountain, and then crush that down with their feet of hatred. Everything I've built destroyed in a matter of moments. But that aside, I'm here to have a great and excellent time with a couple of lads that I hope to get to know a bit better. And of course, Elle! Yes! Take us! And like newborn children, throw us off of a cliff into a den of lions to be eaten alive. I'm ready!
Now, the real question is, Matthew, the diametrically opposite of Benno. How are you doing, Matthew?
Well, I'm certainly feeling energetic after that delightful introduction from Benno. Everyone, my name is Matthew, as you have already heard. I'm a longtime player in some of ELH's games. I have no pretensions of ever becoming a quality game master myself, nor will I ever be streaming games. But I'm delighted to be able to take part in this affair with two seemingly seasoned role players and excellent actors.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of actors, Mr. Hex, what's going on with you?
Hello, I'm Jason, otherwise known as Profess Hex. I am a professional stage and voice actor and a tabletop RPG player, GM, and designer. And I am here today to suck rads. That's my whole... That's my motivation in life.
Hell yeah.
Well, I mean, aren't you a ghoul? That literally is your motivation.
Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely. I am both figuratively and literally a ghoul.
Love it.
Hell yeah.
Love it. And yeah, just a quick introduction in case you weren't paying attention at the top of the session. Hi, I'm ELH, the Game Master. And with this, let's bring it on in and start our session proper. So, if you will imagine, we start sort of over the skies of the Commonwealth. And we fly past the main part of Boston, what remains of it. We fly to the west, and we begin to zoom in the farther we get away from Boston until we actually zoom in on what is this green patch, almost like a Garden of Eden. And what we see is a bunch of, well, people going about their daily business. There is a literal town that is created within this greenery. This is the town of Babel. And as you probably have picked up, it was created 1 year ago by the activation of a Garden of Eden creation kit, or GEC. And for those who don't know what that means, it basically is you push a button and the next thing you know, you've got gardens, farms, places to live, etc., etc. Now, relevant to you players, you all have lived in Babelbrook long enough to become part of the town's militia, which unfortunately means that instead of celebrating the town's first founder day and a year of survival in the Commonwealth with everybody else, you're investigating a break-in on the edge of town. Now, the context for this is Jesse Pettigrew, Babelbrook's mayor, has pulled you aside before the festivities and asked you all to check in on the Tarberry farm on the settlement's outskirts. He specifically did not want anyone to panic during the party and has asked you to handle the break-in discreetly, with emphasis on discreetly. Now, with that in mind, each of you are now standing just outside the small farm of Joseph and Teresa, who before now you knew as a kind old ghoul couple, but they never showed up at the party, which might be related to the break-in. Before I go any further, though, in describing the farm, I think this is an opportunity for everyone to introduce their characters. So let's start with Benno again. Benno, if you could introduce your character.
Sure. So my character is Valister Armitage. He is a rookie scribe within the Brotherhood of Steel. And the reason that he would be here is we'll say that a different Pridwin crashed a while ago, and I haven't been able to get back to. You know what? I should be clicking red numbers randomly. They'd move me around the surface. So I literally was just talking to you guys while showing my back to you. I'm so sorry about that.
You're fine.
Rude, but okay.
You couldn't perceive your full glory. That's all.
100%. I'm sorry. Space is so indeterminate. The fact that I've no zero G protection, I can't determine what's up, down, yesterday, or even tomorrow. But that aside, some sort of Pridwin or whatever, the I don't know, Halogenaster. There you go. That's the name of my big blimp that I was on. Blew up, and I haven't been able to get in contact with them since. So this is where I've been stationed for the last little while as I try and slowly convene and make my way back to the Brotherhood of Steel to go and continue my mission of reclamation of the old world and to get cool knowledge and stuff. Knowledge be king.
Love it. So that's Valister. All right, Matthew, who are you playing?
I'm playing Fanwell, who is a late middle-aged human. He has fairly decrepit clothing, even for the standards of survivors amongst the post-apocalyptic hellscape that we find ourselves in, although we're now in this little Garden of Eden. And he is... He's basically a survivalist. He doesn't spend much time inside the city. He is, or the town. He spends most of it out in the wilds, hunting around various different animals to supply the village. And as he is surveying this scene, he's sort of carefully observing any different tracks or signs of foul play potentially in the environment around him.
Gotcha. We'll get to that in a moment. But Hex, tell us about your character.
My character is a ghoul named Dr. Kaz Worm, and yes, he is named after the popular They Might Be Giants song of the same name. He is basically the gist of this character is that he is Bones from Star Trek, if you could actually see some of his bones.
I love it.
He is he's clad in like traditional sort of wanderer's leathers, but over that is a obviously fairly stained, somewhat tattered lab coat. He's got kind of a John Slattery from Mad Men kind of vibe, kind of a tall, sort of lanky, slightly older gentleman with a Clark Gable mustache and a like a shock of white hair that's basically, there's like a tuft that's all that's left that's on his wrinkly raisin-esque forehead.
Fun. I love it.
Oh, he also has a pair of sunglasses that is missing one of the lenses on his good eye. So.
Ooh.
So I guess it's an eye patch of sorts, if you think about it.
Say eye patch. I say uniglasses.
Uniglasses. There you go. That's one way to put it.
An optional eye patch. But then again, I guess all eye patches are optional. Forget what I said.
Hell yeah.
All right. Well, the three of you again are on the edge of this Tarberry farm on the outskirts of Babelbrook. And this is where the joviality of the session maybe takes a dent for a little bit, because what you see before you is not particularly disturbing, but very concerning. Specifically, as you look at the one-story Adobe-style farmhouse, what you see is that the front door has literally been shattered into a pile of wooden scraps. And you also see that there are no lights on inside, and the farm itself is very still, which, considering you hear again that sort of partying from the rest of Babel Brook behind you on the winds, and the winds themselves are sort of whistling with that same sort of indication that a storm is coming. There are things you need to do before a storm comes, and the fact that there's not people out and about on the farm, very concerning. If it matters, there is a red barn behind the house in the middle of the Tarberry Fields themselves, and you can see that the wide wooden door of the barn is intact, but again, everything is still, everything is pointing to something wrong has happened here. But that's where I'm going to drop you all in. Feel free to roleplay to your heart's content.
I have a quick question. The
Sure.
way that holo tags function, they're like a black box recorder of things that happen for Brotherhood. Is that correct?
That's more or less correct, yes.
Okay, got it. Great. So I'll probably making sure to keep that consistently within the view of everything, so it can follow my adventure, so that when I get back, they'll have or in case we meet a horrible end, they'll have a clean and consistent view of what's going on. And I kind of sometimes bring it up to talk into it, like keeping a journal entry.
I love it. I love it.
In fact, I'll just do that right now. Just like day 649 of my solace with this small community. Me and the boys have been sent over to check out a, seemingly small incident, but it looks like things may appear to be on the stranger side. I'll keep you up to date. Valster is more, as opposed to our two rough and tumble more older gentlemen. Vallister is a horrifically young 17-year-old punk who doesn't know the better of it and thinks that he can take on the entirety of the world. So he's really chipper and ready to take things on. Also, he thinks he's just a absolutely too smart for his own good. Or he thinks he's too smart for his own good. He's probably wrong about a hefty chunk of things, but he'll try and provide his insight on anything that he can in a smart alecky sort of matter of factual kind of way. So I'm sure that won't get annoying at all. Go ahead, gentlemen.
Question for you, GM, actually.
Yes.
With respect to the people who would be on this farm, is it just operated by the Dugul couple? Or...
That is correct, yes.
Okay. All right.
They have no farmhands.
No farmhands that you know of.
Okay.
Fair enough. I mean, it's Fallout. Who would they even be able to get and hire trustworthy like?
Especially as a ghoul couple. I mean, not to be racist, but
Maybe
No,
some
yeah.
uplifted cockroaches or
there you
Send
go.
cockroaches.
Just expose a rad roach to FEV and let nature sort it out.
exactly. Yeah, why not?
Nature.
Matt, you said your character was initially going to be surveying the area. Is there a check for that? Like, what type of check would it be to go and look around?
Well, that is an excellent opportunity to introduce some rolling. So I'm mostly doing this not just for Benno, because Benno is new to 2D20, but also I'm imagining most of our viewers are new to 2D20. God, I can English today. So the way it works is for this system, Benno or Matthew or whoever wants to do this roll, I would like you to roll me a perception plus either medicine, science, or survival. And that is at a difficulty of 0, which means any successes you roll will be action points that come to you. And as it happens, I'll explain what all this means. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to combine your perception score and then either your medicine, science, or survival. And you're going to get a target number. And what you want to do is you want to roll under that number. The macro and roll 20 will actually walk you through the process very cleanly. And for this, I don't think it's really going to matter if you have a skill tagged, but we'll address that as people roll. So who would like to take the first whack at this?
I wouldn't mind
No,
going.
I think.
Okay. So I do have a tag skill, but we'll get to that when it matters.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, you got one success. And which skill did you have tagged?
Survival.
Okay. Looks like you rolled a 9 and a 12, so you don't get any crit successes. But you still have the one success, so you get what is called an action point. Now, these action points are important because you can use these action points in a myriad of different ways. And I'll bring them up as they become relevant. But seeing the sort of successes, the extra successes, very good thing to see. So, before I give Mr. Fanuli, am I saying that right, Fanuli?
It's like Daniel, but Fanwell.
Oh, Faneuil.
After Faneuil Hall.
Faneuil. Okay.
That is a good clarification.
That's much Faneuil.
I'm
Got it.
Write that down in brackets. Damn.
All right. Anybody else want to attempt the roll before I give Faneuil what he sees?
Yeah. Can I do that one? But I want to try it with science here. I bet I'll get a different info other than survival.
Yeah, I would say it would definitely be tailored that each of these is different information.
Fantastic. So this is generic roller to go and use that, right?
Mm-hmm. It's going to ask you your special skill, your perk, or your skill, and then it will ask you how many D20 you want to start with. By default, you always roll 2D20 unless you have bought additional dice.
Got it. I am backwards again. God damn it. There we go. All right. All right, so 2, and then your special. Okay, that was perception.
Mm-hmm.
Learning. I'm doing it. Watch me, Dad. I can do it.
He's doing it, Peter.
All right, there we go. And we want to go and make sure that I'm pulling up the right sheet. That's Faneuil's sheet from earlier because I was looking how you guys did it to make sure that I didn't goof up my sheet. So that's not who I am. That's not me. I'm Val. There we go. And my perception is...
Wrote down the pronunciation and immediately forgot it.
Nice.
6. And my skill in Science Brain is 3. That's a pretty good skill. All right. Roll me up a...
All right.
I also got 1.
You also got 1. Excellent. And yeah, no, even if it's tagged, it won't help you because you rolled an 18 and a 7. But yeah, basically that is a success for you. Does Mr. Worm or Dr. Worm care to do a medicine angle on this?
Okay. Look, listen right here. Let me just put you in your place just a second here. I didn't go to like 6 months of a correspondence course here in the irradiated wasteland to be called Mr. All right.
Sorry, Doctor. Sorry.
Yeah.
With whom were you corresponding?
The roach.
They never really identified themselves.
Sounds trustworthy.
I think Phoenix Online is still operational.
Ooh.
So yeah,
Could be.
Either that or DeVry.
DeVry!
Yeah, so I'm gonna do a medicine check.
All right.
7 and okay. 2 D20s, 7 perception, 3 on the medicine. Hey.
All right. And let me just double check. Yeah, you rolled an 8 and a 14, so nothing there. But you all get 1 success. So I'm going to start general, and then we'll move into the specifics. So as you move towards the Adobe farmhouse, what you're seeing initially is that the living room is a source of chaos, basically. It looks like a tornado has come through here. You're seeing furniture that has been overturned. You're seeing that the floor itself is scattered with these broken picture frames, bits of jewelry, and blood-soaked farm tools. And you sort of all pick up on the fact that there's this slow dripping sound coming from an archway that leads to a kitchen. And to put it plainly, as you go to investigate this dripping sound, what you see is that impaled to the wall, as in literally feet off the ground, is an old ghoul woman that is recognizable as Teresa. Her eyes are frozen. They're wide with fear, and her chin is slumped down towards her chest. She's not breathing. In fact, it doesn't take a genius to figure out she's probably been dead for, well, since the good doctor succeeded, she's been dead for maybe about 2 hours. Now, what Faniel, what you get with your roll is that you are noticing that there are also the sounds of what could be scrabbling coming from one of the bedrooms. And then what our good Valister notices with his is that you are noticing that there are bloody footprints that lead through the kitchen and out of the back door. And if it matters, these footprints are not from, let's say shoes. They look like someone barefoot has come through here.
Oh, someone or something.
Oh, no shoes. That only narrows it down to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, yeah. Yep. Oh boy. Okay. I will immediately be alerted by seeing the dead lady. Although luckily we have been alive here long enough, so probably seeing dead people isn't all that new. But I will pull up the ascot that I have around my neck and put it over my face. I don't want to breathe in any kind of ghoul fumes. I mean, like, I don't even know if that's real, but like, just in case, you never know. It's gonna.
That's racist.
Yeah. Look. Yeah. Probably. Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
I think the doctor will see that and be like,
really? Have we not talked about this? I don't know how many times.
I mean,
I've
read in a couple of books back home that they were stating that it was seemingly, but then again, they were New Age books. Oh, you know what? When I get back to the fold, I'll be sure to see if I can get a copy for you and send it your way. It's a good read. You'll love it, Doctor. Okay, let's go and have a look. Can I slowly pull out my pistol as well and approach the deceased female?
You can indeed.
The deceased, unfortunate, very, very unfortunate lady.
And what I would say is that now that you're a little bit closer, I mean, you could tell there was an object sticking out of her because I did say impaled, but it literally looks like a pitchfork has been run through her.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So might be a person that did this. That's good.
Well, we can at least narrow it down to somebody with hands.
Yeah, and feet. Take a look over there. I'll point over to where I saw the bloody footprints and whatnot.
Oh, God.
Do you hear that? There's a noise coming from over there. And Fenwell will actually remove some of the wrappings that he has and unveil a pair of hand axes. And he'll withdraw one of those and point towards the direction of the scrabbling sound that he hears.
I'll point my gun towards where he's going, and slowly see if I can advance towards it. Trying to bring up on Fanuel's flank.
All right.
I will follow up in the very rear, and I'll say,
all right, Val, remember what we talked about. Questions first, bullets second.
Bullets and no, wait, questions, and then we'll figure it out when the door is open. Is there a door where the sounds?
This is not complicated. It's a flow chart. Questions, yes, no, and then if you get to no, then bullets is also a yes, no, and then I'll give you a diagram later.
The first step is really, are they shooting at us or trying to kill us? Yes, no. If yes, bullets come first.
Yes, I agree, but I'm trying to simplify it for Val's sake.
He's like, oh my, this flow chart is getting very intense. Where should I be putting all the...
That's not intense.
Ooh, but it could be intense. We could add more layers inside of it. What if each yes was a derivative of the word yes, and we could have different options that come in? We, or perhaps C as well. Want to add more languages to it.
Frank fucking Sinatra, will you just go in there with the gun?
You've got it. I will see about pushing open the door and seeing what's inside, holding my gun at the ready.
Gotcha. So when you open the door that that Faniel has pointed out, you see that it leads to a bedroom, and it's a fairly small room, all things considered. There's just enough room for a twin-sized bed and a sliding closet that takes up actually a good majority of the room, which might seem odd, but again, Fallout universe, they have odd design choices. But even now, you are hearing something scrabbling within the closet.
Uh-oh. I will slowly approach towards the closet, holding the butt of the gun at the ready in case I need to melee this bad boy, which is awful because I'm terrible at melee, but we'll see what happens. And I'll look back to the two to sort of nod towards them as if like asking them to get at the ready. Is there readied actions in this game?
There kind of is. So let's actually talk about what you can do in terms of major actions that could lead to combat. So one of the things you can do is you can actually prepare an action to use melee or shoot whatever jumps out at you or whatever you see. You just, like most things with readied actions, you have to be very specific. So basically you would tell me, oh, I want to get the butt of the gun ready and I'll melee if they jump out, or, oh, if they jump out at me, I'll actually shoot them. Like it's one of those things where, again, you have to be specific, but there is a very amount of things you can actually do in terms of attacking. So what would you like to do? And then I'll sort of narrow it down from there.
Okay. So I think I'm probably just going to open the door, and I'm going to have no idea what to sort of expect for it here. So I don't actually think I want to prepare any sort of damage or attack or anything in case this is like a person. Like, what if it's the husband, right? Like, he hasn't shown up either. He could be trapped in there, and I don't want to like accidentally just unload on this man. So I will just try and prepare to open the door. If either of you two want to prepare anything for yourselves, that's all I got. I will see about opening the door and stepping back. That is going to be my action that I want to take. If you guys want to do anything off of that, then now's the time.
I do have a question for you, GM.
Yes.
Based on what we know of this family, did they own a pet, like a guard dog to keep rad roaches out of the fields, something like that?
To your knowledge, they never had a dog. I mean, they once had a Brahmin, or for those who don't know, a two-headed cow. But yeah, no pets that you can think of.
Well, I highly doubt it's the Brahmin, because I don't think it would fit in that closet, regardless of how big it is.
100% true. That Brahmin is not going in there, which means it could either be the husband, the culprit, or roaches. It's just, I don't know. It could be roaches.
I would say Dr. Worm is going to he'll position himself in front of the closet door, right? And sort of put his hands up in a kind of, I come in peace sort of stance, right? Just so that the first thing that whatever is in there sees when the door is opened is somebody ideally non-threatening.
All right.
And I think that Fanuel would be off to the side as best as possible so that he has a bead on anything that comes out of the closet if it starts to attack the doctor, but that he would be he would only be visible from its peripheral vision at best, so it doesn't spook whatever's in there.
Got it. So what's going to happen is the following series of events. Valister, you carefully open up the closet door, and immediately, since Worm has specifically gotten in front, Mr. Worm, Dr. Worm, sorry.
Oh,
swear to God.
I did it again. I'm sorry.
Did it again.
So Dr. Worm, what happens is, as Valister actually figured it out, what's inside is not the husband. It's a big old rad roach that literally jumps out of the closet and will attempt to attack you. So this is now...
God damn it.
This is now my role, and we're going to see what happens. No. What is your defense?
My defense is... Are you writing this down? 1.
Oh, no.
It's 1?
It's 1.
It's 1.
Okay. So what's going to happen is, I'm just double checking the stat block here, but what's going to happen is this rad roach is not only going to leap at you and bite, but let's just say it's going to leave a mark maybe as it bites into you. And I'm mostly just doing this to show you guys what's involved with an attack. So basically when you roll an attack, you roll your dice and you are able to compare it against the defense of your target. Most of the time it's going to be a 1, sometimes it'll be a 2, maybe sometimes even a 3, but usually you're shooting against a 1. And once you succeed, you then roll a number of combat dice. And based on the results of that, you deal damage, which I'll roll for effect here. So the Rad Roach would be doing 2 damage to Dr. Worm. However, Dr. Worm, what is the armor you have on your torso?
Torso, I'd be wearing just tough clothing, which gives me 1 physical damage resistance.
All right, in that case, you're going to reduce the 2 by the 1 damage resistance, and you're going to take 1 HP of damage.
All right.
Oh, crap. Oh, no, we've been blooded immediately.
Get it off me. Get it off me.
Ah! It was like, ah!
And I think with far more composure than is being demonstrated by our young initiative to the Brotherhood, Fanuel would leap forward and attempt to use the throwing axe that he has in his hand in a low, swooping swipe to avoid potentially cutting through the Rad Roach and striking the Doctor himself.
Oh, that would be good.
To I guess, cleave the Rad Roach in 2.
All right, so you are going to be rolling a melee attack in this instance. And a melee attack is going to be your strength plus melee weapon.
And I will use one of those points of action, or those action points, I think, to buy an extra die. I don't know if you want to go over the rules for that.
While you're doing that, and as you're doing the roll, I can go over it. So the way action points work is you can do the following with action points. You can buy additional D20s, and what that means is you can buy up to 5 total D20s that you're rolling on a roll. You can ask the GM additional questions, and the GM has to answer truthfully, but maybe not completely. You can also reduce the amount of time a test takes. You can take additional minor actions, additional major actions. You can even add extra damage on certain attacks with action points. So let's see, with 2 successes, that is going to be more than sufficient. So you actually get a action point back because the difficulty was a 1. And at this point, I need to know, are you going to be spending any action points to deal additional melee damage, or do you just want to roll straight?
Well, I do have the Hunter talent, which makes my attacks against anything with the mammal, lizard, or insect keywords have vicious.
Ooh, all right. Well, when you roll, I will point that out.
So I will spend 1 action point to roll an extra die.
Alrighty.
How do we get the action? How do we buy them?
So the way it works is and I probably should have said this earlier. So the action points are a group pool. Like all the players share the pool of action points. And it's one of those things where anybody can pull from the pool. It's just one of those gentlemen's agreements that you don't like spend all of it on one roll. Like you actually consult the group is like, can I spend this kind of a thing? But it's open to everybody, and you get it by getting more successes than needed on a task.
Perfect. So we can get like fairly huge if we're conservative and just happen to roll really well.
Correct. Though there is a limit. The limit is 6 total that you can store up.
So then we want to and are encouraged to spend it, especially if we're starting to roll really good.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Which will then cascade into us rolling even better because we'll be spending it, which will increase our chances. Wow. Okay. Interesting. Like it. Good.
All right. And this is actually a great opportunity because you've rolled effects. So the vicious effect works the same way as it does in Star Trek Adventures and the other systems. So each of those effects counts as an additional damage. So not 4 damage, but 7 damage total to this Rad Roach. And, well, how would you like to describe killing the Rad Roach flat out?
Smokes.
I think he takes a kind of a leap forward and makes a low, loping sort of sweep with his his axe, cleaving the radroach in two, almost bisecting it, while showering the doctor in an effusion of viscera and guts.
I stare.
Could you have, I don't know, kicked the damn thing off me first? You just had to. Oh God, there's corn in here. I don't know how, but there's corn in here.
Probably gotten some cans in the pantry.
Oh God!
Look, you
That
were
was
screaming.
so cool. Yeah. Blew up
Oh.
everything.
Okay, yeah, okay.
See that?
Okay,
I mean-
thank you, kid. Yeah.
I was hyped. That was. I licked it. I was. Wow. Damn. Just, axes in there and everything. Wow. All right. Well, I'll look in the closet. Is there anything else in there? Oh God, please don't let the. Oh,
There's not another rad roach. That's the good news.
Okay.
But what you do see is there is a heart-shaped tin locket. And if you pick up the locket, you see that there is a small photo of the gentleman of the couple, Joseph. And he's sort of wearing a goofy grin. And on the other side of the locket, like it's one of those lockets where it's like two pictures, like you have one picture in the left, one picture in the right.
Mhm.
What you see on the right is that there is another person, but the actual face has been scratched out by a sharp object, and you're not really able to recognize who it might be.
Huh. What do you guys make of this? I'll toss them the locket.
Maybe trouble in paradise. God.
I'll put my gloved finger to my chin, my handkerchiefed chin, and be like, perhaps the husband turned upon his own wife and skewered her with his pitchfork in a fit of rage as the lovers' quarrel deepened too far. Yes, this may be a possibility. I'll surmise to myself openly and loudly.
Do we know? I mean, how familiar are we with Joseph and Teresa? Do they seem like, have they argued before publicly, perhaps?
It's a good question. And this is a good opportunity to maybe introduce the fact that you can give me an action point for me to answer that question.
Oh.
I don't want to give you any action points.
Is there any sense motive? No, okay, I guess no. That wouldn't
They're
work. It
mine.
would just be thinking. It would just be thinking, wouldn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no way that we could surmise that. There's no
Oh.
knowledge checks in this system, is there?
No, and that's actually the best. Well,
Son of a bitch.
there kind of is knowledge checks, but it's definitely more narrative than, say, D&D, where you would have to roll like an Arcana or a History. No, I just tell you things is the way it works.
Are we willing to spend one to get information on the couple's like reading
Marital
barometer?
relations.
Yeah.
Marital reading. What do you guys think? Do you think they're with knowing more about, and that their relationship status as well as our comprehension of it would enhance this in any way? Or do we want to like just keep making assumptions?
Well, we do have the bloody footprints to track down.
I say
Right.
footprints first, and after that we'll be like, oh wait, and we'll, like later on, I'm like, now I remember. Joseph hates his wife, of course.
Oh, that's right. He was in the middle of town and he said, I'm going to skewer her with a pitchfork. I distinctly remember that.
Right, because she ate his last. What were they called?
Tarberry?
It's not potato. It's tartatoes or what were they
Tartatos,
called?
yeah.
Yeah. I was like, right, he ate the last one during dinner, and he just goes and openly states to everyone, woman, tonight you're getting skewered. We thought it was a Bobby joke, but he actually meant to kill her. Well, whoopsie poopsie. All right, let's go and follow those footprints. Fannel has that idea. That's a damn good idea. Let's go and follow the trail. You lead on, Captain Survive. You've got this. You got to survive. Can I assist in a survive? Is there assistance check? Is there help checks?
There actually is a assistance roll. But I don't think it's quite required for this. I think you, unless you want to like deliberately sneak your way out, which I guess I'll ask, do you want to sneak as you're inspecting the footprints, or you just want to follow them?
Any pretense of stealth has been thrown out the window at this point.
Oh, I've been screaming this whole time. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just too excited. I'm so sorry.
No, I love it. I love the energy.
Let's just bumble after the footprints, I guess.
All right.
Hell yeah, bumbling. Let's go.
I would actually have a question as we're passing through the kitchen to trail after the footprints.
Yes.
Looking at the body of the wife, does she have any defensive? I mean, I would ask the doctor. Worm, can you take a look? Does she have any signs of violence other than the pitchfork? I mean, I don't know, defensive wounds on the arms, anything you can see there?
Right. I'll take a look. Although, you know, she's like me, so it's kind of hard to tell what's wounds and what's just, you know,
festering boils and radiation
features.
burns.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, shouldn't you have a lot of experience with that sort of thing, given your own state?
Go on, you can say it.
Well, given that you're a hideous mass of, decayed flesh and it's just facts.
That wasn't what I thought you were going to say, but okay, you went like a couple of steps farther than I expected, but fine. Yeah. I'll take a look.
You know I have nothing but respect for your people, though.
Fuck off.
Okay.
Oh, well, Dr. Worm, if you want to give me a perception and medicine, difficulty of 0 here, trying to get you guys some action points.
Perception and medicine.
Getting those action points.
Yeah, I cannot wait for the actual Roll20 sheets to be ready, because that'll make this even faster. Yeah, right now we're sort of slumming it with a macro, but we make do.
This is slumming it? Oh my god, you should see the way that my group plays. This is literally, I'm like, damn, dude, there's a macro. Holy shit.
We get dice?
Yeah, I know, right?
We're allowed to roll shit? Oh my god.
My medicine is a tag skill, just to keep that
All
in
right,
mind,
let's
so.
oh, well, that actually worked. The macro works. So you rolled a 1. So this is a this is a good, this is a critical success, which means that 1 actually counts as 2 successes. So you get 2 action points back. And yeah, Doctor, it's not really good or bad news, but I'll tell you what you see. You see that despite the ghoul nature of Teresa, you do see that her face and arms do show signs of a fierce struggle. There are defensive wounds, noticeable defensive wounds. And you, based on your medical expertise, you're pretty sure that these happened before the impale happened.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing you notice is that, you remember that picture that you saw in the locket, how it was, the face was scratched out?
Yep.
Well, now that you look at Teresa, she's wearing the same sort of dress that the other person was wearing in that locket.
Right. Now, do I know anything else about these defensive wounds? Like, does it look like they were caused by, let's say, fingernails or claws or
what I would say
weapon of some kind?
What I would say is that as you're sort of inspecting the body, you sort of are in that archway between the kitchen and the living room. Your eyes sort of wander towards the kitchen for a little bit, maybe not just to look at the footprints, but what you're noticing is that there's an overturned drawer with scattered utensils like knives, spoons, forks, and you are noticing that some of the tips of the knives are bloodied. Not in like someone stepped on them with bloody feet, but like actually someone,
Use them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oh.
Okay, so generally bad news sort of all the way around. It looks like Teresa here was struggling with somebody before she got, American Gothic over here. And as you can see, this cutlery is, it's freshly painted, if you know what I mean. So I think we got a murder, definitely. And not like an attack, unless there are super intelligent rad roaches walking around with jealous of marital arrangements. I think it's safe to say that we got to find Joe.
Yes. Where is Joseph? Could he be the killer?
Just
Mark.
one thing,
Yeah.
Dr. Worm, I would really rather appreciate it if you stopped dropping all those references to things that, I don't know, didn't exist or haven't existed for hundreds of years. I don't know what this American Gothic thing is, but it's really frustrating. I know you're, 500 years older than either of us, but...
Yes, 512.
It's a book, right? American Gothic's a book?
No, it is not a book. There was in the before times, they had something that they did for recreation, but also art, was they would take pigments and make images out of them. It was called painting, right? And this was a well-known painting of a dentist and his sister. But people thought it was his wife. Okay. Well, we're going to be here all day if I have to explain dentistry.
All right, fair enough.
It's about that time that it's about that time that I'm actually going to spend one of my own action points. The GM does get their own pool of action points. What I'm going to say is that you all hear the unmistakably loud noise of a shotgun blast coming from the direction of the red barn in the backyard.
Oh, fuck. Whole ass time.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. No, it's go.
All right. So, as you all rush out, you, of course, do notice that the bloody footprints do lead straight up to the barn door. And as you peek inside, what you see is the crazed look of a man that is on the verge of losing it. Now, again, Joseph is a ghoul, so he is a little bit emaciated, a little bit, flesh falling off kind of a thing. But what you're seeing is that he is holding a shotgun with a shaking hand, and he's not really pointing it at the door at the moment. He's sort of pointing it towards a point in the barn, off to his right. So he's up against the back wall, and he's pointing off to the right. So for you, it's pointing to the left. And you see that his eyes are wide and mad. His teeth are in a grimace, like it's one of those toothy sort of gestures. Strangely, he's wearing like 5 or 6 layers of shirts and sweaters, and that makes his shaking movements a little bit slow and awkward. And as you all sort of peek in and see this, the shotgun swings towards you all, and Joseph screams, "I don't know her! I don't know her! I don't know any of you!" And I need to know, what are you all doing at this moment?
Okay. I, using my advanced thought, will use the flow charts and showcasing that, okay, so bullets have not happened yet, so I should attempt to talk first. Put the gun down, Joe! No one has to get hurt!
Not so loud. You're going to spook him.
Oh, sorry.
And what I would say, this is...
Joe.
Okay, now that's too soft. He can't hear you.
Okay, Joseph, put the gun down.
Good. That's
there we go.
There we go.
All right. Is that a diplomacy check or?
Yeah. So what you're going to roll for me, Valister, is you are going to be rolling me a charisma and a speech, please. And what I would tell you before you start the macro is this is going to be a difficulty of 4, which means you're going to be wanting to spend at least one of your action points on additional dice. So this is a good opportunity for me to speak about that a little bit. So in order to roll 3d20, you spend 1 action point. In order to roll 4d20, you spend 3 action points.
Oh.
1 for the first additional, and then another 2 for the second additional die.
Correct.
Right.
This is going to be rough. Okay, and I need to get 4 successes in order to make sure that will calm him and make it so that he doesn't blow us apart.
Correct.
Okay. My good pal here, the doctor, was walking me through it. Is that possibly counted as an assistance? And is that in any way also able to help? Because you said assistance roles were also a thing.
They are a thing. And you know what? This is a perfect opportunity for that. So when you assist, you basically are rolling 1d20, and you can't buy any additional die, but it is a way for you to help in a way. And you can crit and do all the normal things when you're assisting. It's just you're stuck to 1d20.
Okay. What do you think? Should I be buying both the dice to try and go for it, and we have a pool of 5 to work with? I'm a bit nervous about this one because this is like if this is a goofer, this guy is leveling that gun towards me, and he's probably going to try and blast me out of existence.
Nobody wants buckshot to the chest. I think we should definitely spend some.
Yeah, let's try and get up to 2. If you guys think that that's okay to do at this particular point, which means that we'll have to spend 3 action points, and drain that pool. Okay,
so you'll have 4d20, and I'll roll my 1 for assistance.
Mm-hmm. You got it.
Generic roller. We got 4d20. Met with my special here. That is going to be my charisma, which is unfortunately a 5. That's pretty average.
Yes, we sent the talker in.
My speech of 1.
Nice.
Oh no!
So, unfortunately, with no successes whatsoever, I think what's going to happen is we're actually going to go into initiative order here, as the crazed Joseph is going to attack you in earnest. So there's basically 2 trains of thought when it comes to initiative. Rules as written. Basically, it goes in order of who has the highest initiative score, which we can do. I don't have a problem doing it. Or we can do something more like Star Trek Adventures, where it goes player, enemy, back and forth. I think the second option is a little more dynamic, but I'm willing to do whichever one you all prefer.
There's no rolling for initiative? It's just like...
It's just straight what your score is, yeah.
Not a d20 plus your initiative, but just a dead ass, like,
Just a number.
Just a number, yeah.
Wow.
So maybe my math is probably wrong here, but wouldn't the second method mean that the enemy gets to go more often than we do?
If there's enough enemies, yes. It's not one of those things where currently it's a 3-on-1. The Joseph isn't going to get 3 turns. He's only going to get his 1 turn.
I see. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Up to you guys how you'd want to do it. It means that he would get to possibly, depending on his initiative, get to go in the middle first.
I think given that this is, we're doing an introduction to this system, so I think we should probably skew to rules as written, right?
Okay. Then I need to know what everybody's initiative score is.
I will write it in chat. Correctly and not incorrectly. 13.
A 13. Okay, 2 13s and a 17. All right, what that's going to mean then is, Fanuel, you are going to act first. Then it will be the Ghoul Farmer, and then it will be Mr. Vallister, and then Dr. Worm.
So Fanuel is actually going to pull back from the door and gesture towards the back of the barn and around the corner, and then he's going to try to make his way behind the barn and then sneak into the rear of the building, probably in the next round, in order to get up behind him.
All right, and that is going to take both your minor and major action to do so, which means that Mr. Joseph is going to then look between Vallister and Dr. Worm. I'm going to do the diplomatic thing. I'm going to flip a coin. If I roll a 1, Mr. Vallister. If I roll a 2, Dr. Worm. Well, Dr. Worm, it seems you are the punching bag for today, because that's where the dice want to fall. All right, here we go. What is your defense?
Defense is a 1.
Still, I wanted to check, because that is going to be a grand total of 7 damage to your left leg. So this is actually a good opportunity to handle injuries. It was going to happen eventually. So you still reduce by your damage resistance, which hopefully you have some.
Yeah, it's a 1.
Okay. So you're going to take 6 damage, but the way the injury system works is when you take 5 or more damage to a limb, a critical effect has happened. So what that means is because you got a critical hit to your leg, Dr. Worm, is that you are going to immediately fall prone. And in order to move, it is a major action instead of a minor action.
Oh,
and that injury
Alright.
is going to persist until you actually do some first aid, which as a doctor you can do, but maybe not right this moment.
If I remember correctly, the first aid is only going to treat, so it'll like remove the negative effect, but I still have to like properly recuperate for it to go away completely.
Correct,
wow,
yes.
which means
Right.
which means time and bed rest and things of that
Yep.
nature. Oh crap.
So I guess I will just take that shotgun blast in the leg and like fall over forward prone as it blasts me back.
Ah, fuck. What is wrong with this day? God damn it.
This is the worst fucking day for you. Oh god.
All right, well, Valister, you're up next. What would you like to do?
Seeing that he is insane and shot it following the flowchart, it's time to blow this man away. It is bullet time. I level the gun, my 10 millimeter, possibly rusted and gross looking as hell, against him. I'm like, "You giving me no choice, Joe!" And I will attempt to shoot this man. I'll try to shoot him.
So let's actually make a point of order here. So your difficulty on this would be a 1, but what you specifically said there was that you took a aim at him, and that's actually a minor action. And what the aim action does is it does mean you can re-roll a d20 if you so wish. Now, the other thing I would say is that if you want to shoot Joe in a specific location, you can actually increase the difficulty by 1, so it would be difficulty of 2, but you would be hitting him in a specific location rather than a random one.
Ooh. You know, but the way I've been rolling today, I don't think let's just try and get some damage in on him. I don't think I'm a marksman here who's going to be able to blast away the gun out of his hands and be like, "Gotcha, Joe." No, it's just, let's hope I can hit him. Please don't let this man kill the doctor or myself. Okay.
All right. In that case, I am going to need a agility and a small guns roll, please.
All right. I think I'm pretty good at that. I think that's a tag skill. So then this is going to be 2 dice. I definitely.
Nope, that's the combat dice. Wrong macro.
I definitely hit the wrong thing. I'm so sorry.
You're fine.
2 dice.
Absolutely.
Agility is big boy 7. Big boy. And skill for small guns is 3. This is a big roll for me.
All right, let me check
There
in.
we go.
Is your small arms actually tagged?
Yes, it is.
What that means then, and this is again a good teaching opportunity, Benno has rolled a 7 and a 3. Well, because that 3 is underneath his small arms skill, or small gun skill, I should say. What that means is that 3 or lower counts as a crit. So that's not 2 successes, that's 3 successes, which means you actually get 2 action points for getting extra successes.
Oh, we're bringing it back, boys. We're getting the pool bigger.
And yeah, at this point, go ahead and roll me the damage on your pistol, and that'll be a combat dice roll.
Got it. Damage on pistol is.
And yeah, Strata Hitokuri. Oh god, I can English today. Yeah, basically tagged is a focus in the system if we are comparing it to Star Trek Adventures.
Yeah.
All right, so that is 3 damage, and at this point, because you didn't aim for a specific location, could you roll me a hit location? The macros should just be a click, and it'll tell you what you hit.
Hit location. Right on.
All right, so you take a carefully aimed shot, you squeeze the trigger, shot rings out, hits Joseph in the right arm. It kind of jerks back a little bit, and he snarls in pain, but he doesn't drop the gun, unfortunately. Now, what I would say is, again, teachable moment here. You could spend 2 action points to take another major action, but if you did so, it would be at a +1 difficulty. So let's, for example, if you wanted to shoot again, you could do so, but again, it would be at a difficulty 2 now.
And you'd have to spend action points to do so.
Correct.
And I'd have to spend action points. Let's wait and see if Faniel can save us here.
All right. In that case, we now turn to Dr. Worm on the ground. What would you like to do?
I assume shouting curse words is a free action.
Yeah, it's a free action.
All right. Well, okay. So I'm prone.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So that means that moving is a major action. All right.
Correct.
So just to get off of prone would be my major action, right? We can assume that.
Yeah, that tracks.
Okay. Let's see here. Got to look at what the minor actions are again.
You can aim, you can draw an item, you can interact, and you can take a chem.
Oh, a chem. Oh my god. I don't know if we have any drugs this early. Unless, I mean, you're a doctor.
I do have drugs.
Hi.
Not as many as I would like, but I do have drugs. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I would like to use my major action to kind of like, I won't get up prone necessarily. What I'd like to do is just sort of like shimmy and kind of drag myself with my arms, right, back sort of out of the entrance of the barn to behind one of the doors as best as I can. And then I would like to use the take chem minor action to use one of my stim packs.
Ooh, yeah, go ahead. Now, stim packs, if I remember correctly, they just heal straight, if I remember correctly.
Ooh,
that's 4 HP.
There you go, 4 HP.
Hey, yeah, back in.
All right. So as you're dragging yourself and injecting yourself with a stim pack, we now sort of turn the camera around to follow where Faniel is coming in. So Faniel, at this point, you've reached the back part of the barn. What would you like to do?
I'd like to just take a quick peek inside to see whether he's looking in this direction or if he's still focused on the other door, and if there are any areas that I can sort of use as cover as I'm sneaking towards him.
What I would say is, based on the layout of this barn, the door that you have found comes out into the main space of the barn to the left of where Joseph is sitting. And Joseph is eagle-eyed, almost straight, narrow on the big barn door itself. So he's definitely not looking in your direction. As far as cover, though, not a whole lot of cover between you and Joseph right now.
Would I have a bead on him with a throwing axe from this distance?
You would.
Okay.
Make the throw.
Then, yes, I think I'm going to aim for his arm. Would I be able to get a shot on his injured arm that I can see he's favoring, or is the position of body obviate that possibility?
I would say that you could maybe hit the right arm at a difficulty of 3 overall, but you probably could only hit the left arm in this instance, unless you really, really, really wanted to aim for it. If you get my meaning.
Okay. Then I will aim for his arm in the hopes that he will sort of not be able to wield the shotgun.
Okay.
And would anyone mind if I spent the 3 dice on that aimed shot?
Go. Use.
Okay. So
this for you is going to be an agility and a throwing test. And the difficulty will be a 2.
So. And that's a tagged skill. So.
Okay. Noted.
Oh, hi.
Oh, wow. And you got a 1.
So
that is 4 successes, which means you get 2 action points right back. And what I would say is that throwing damage, you can augment by spending action points here. So would you wish to do so before you roll anything?
If it's all right with all of you, I think I'd spend 1.
All right.
Yeah, it works for me.
And that'll be 1 additional combat dice to your roll.
So from base damage 4 to 5.
All right, so that is, and you still have Vicious 1 on it, yeah?
Only for animals. So
Okay.
the exact wording is against an NPC target with either the mammal, lizard, or insect keywords and the mutated keyword.
Let me check, because you said
Might
the
count as
mutated
mutated.
keyword?
Yep.
Then, yeah, he counts as a ghoul, which is a mutated human, so I would rule that it does count.
And what does the vicious do again?
So the vicious is, for every one of those effects, the effect itself counts as 1. So when it's 1 plus effect, in this instance, that basically means it's a 2 instead of just the
sweet
1.
God. Oh boy, that's intense.
Yeah. So, Faniel, you carefully aim with your throwing axe. You line it up and you huck it, and it twirls through the air in cinematic fashion as it embeds itself into the upper shoulder area, or maybe that bicep area of the arm. And since you did effectively 7 damage to Joseph, Joseph does drop the weapon immediately as his arm becomes useless. And he snarls and goes, "What are you doing? Who are you?" And he just continues to make these very confused and obviously distressed noises.
I
But
think at that point I would race in to kick the gun away. But
well, what I would say is that for his turn, I think he is literally just going to panic. I don't think he's going to do anything on his turn, which would then mean Valister, you're up next. What's the call?
Well, it doesn't seem to be letting bullets fly anymore, so I think we might be out of it. Is there any way I can help up the good doctor here?
Yeah, I would say that would take your minor action to help him up.
Okay. And can I close in? What was he? Because he was looking at something in the barn. I want to close up in towards him with my major action. Do you use that to move? Is there a specific move action, or is it just the 2 minor and major?
So what you could do is, at least if I remember the rules correctly, you can downgrade your major to a minor, so you could move twice. And
Gotcha.
maybe something I should have started with is we don't actually really deal with specific concrete ranges. What we do is we do it in range bands. And so if you'll imagine basically these spheres of influence coming out of your character, and there's of course close range, anything you can touch. There's medium range, which is basically the standard distance for a pistol. There's long range, which is you're starting to get into rifles, things of that nature. Anything beyond that is extreme range, which is basically sniper rifles, etc., etc., etc. So unless I'm misreading, you can move anywhere within medium range, and that would include getting up to Joseph if you so wished.
Got it.
And that's a minor action.
That is a minor
wow.
action, correct?
Yeah, moving is a minor action.
As part of that movement, am I also able to kick the gun towards Faniel, who I now might be able to see considering the axe let loose?
Yeah, I would say that just give me 1 action point. I'll let you kick it away for free.
I'll spend... you guys cool with that? You want that shotgun?
Well, I don't want him to have it.
All right, let's do it. We'll spend it. That shotgun is yours, Faniel, by your feet. There we go.
All right. And since you've basically eliminated the threat, we come out of initiative order, and you all are free to move about the cabin.
Oh, geez. Okay. Well, we got him. What was he looking at? What was he freaking out over? Looks like
So you actually turn and look, and what you see is it is... Remember those pictures I said that were on the floor of the living room? The shattered picture frames and all that?
Yeah.
What you see is that... And the shot didn't hit it, so there's kind of like a blowout in one of the barn's support studs. But hanging on the support stud is a picture of Joseph and his wife.
What the fuck?
And again, what I would say is that Joseph his eyes are wild. He's not really foaming at the mouth, but he's like, "I don't know any of you. Why would you shoot me? What? I'm afraid," kind of thing.
I would say the doctor at this point would sort of limp back inside the barn and say,
it just, all right, Val, Nathaniel, take it easy. It's clearly that this man is suffering from some kind of sickness or a fever or something. We got to get him treated. He's not in his right mind.
I think that's your department. Do you think he's on drugs?
Oh, God
Sorry,
knows.
it's chems. It's chems. I'm so sorry.
My immersion.
Ah!
Well, can one of you come over here and, I don't know, like, help me out here? Otherwise, it's going to take 20 minutes for me to get over there.
I'll run back and provide a shoulder for him to help him get over here, so he can limp and be all right.
Motherfucker. Okay. Yeah, just set me next to him. I'll just sit down here.
I proceed to do so.
I'll sit down, like prop up next to him, basically against the back wall. Then I'll take a ghoulie hand and I'll pat him on the thigh and I'll say, there, we're going to get you taken care of. Just relax. Do you have any prior medical history that I need to know about? Any allergies or?
I don't know. I don't know who you are. I don't know who I am.
All right. Well, don't blame me if you swell up like a balloon in a minute.
I'd like to make a medicine check basically to figure out what I'm dealing with, if this is drugs or an illness or what.
What I would say is this is going to be an intelligence plus your medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And difficulty on this, let's make it a 1. I think it's fairly obvious.
Okay, intelligence 8, medicine 3. Medicine is a tag skill again.
Noted. All right, that I already see that's 1 crit, so that is 2 successes, which means you get an action point. As you're probably guessing, Dr. Worm, this man is suffering from severe amnesia. And that amnesia, of course, is why he's confused, lashing out, etc., etc., etc.
Can I surmise the cause of the amnesia? Is it head trauma? Is it some kind of is his brain boiling? Like, what's going on?
So it's the funniest thing. You actually, check on his temperature. You check whether his brains are drooling out of his nose, things like that. What you're noticing is that there's more sort of defensive wounds along his backside. And there's no indication that he's suffering from a high fever or anything of that nature. You can't really figure out why this amnesia is even happening. By all rights, he should be okay.
Doctor, those wounds on his back. So just to make clear, ELH, you're saying that something attacked him from behind then?
Yes, and something I forgot to mention is that it does look like the wounds were treated fairly recently. And what you would know is that there are doctors in Brook. So, well, I should say 1 doctor in Brook. Not just
That's
you,
not
Dr.
me.
Worm, but yeah, another doctor. So that might be a port of call in your future.
So they've been dressed, and they're not fresh, as in this happened around the same time as the injuries and the fatal one that was inflicted to his wife.
Correct. You have it. Yes, these are dressed wounds. These took place far before the murder happened.
Okay.
I don't get it. This guy should be perfectly lucid. I don't see any sign of fever. I mean, there are some wounds back here, but they got dressed. Drugs? I don't know. Who's got the gun?
I think Nathaniel would have picked that up since it was kicked in his direction. He would have that sort of cocked over his shoulder, and he would retrieve the hand axe if the doctor has deemed it safe to remove.
Mm-hmm.
I would have just given you a look for you to just yank that sucker out of there. I mean, at this point, you shot him. We'll see if he lives, but I'm not too concerned about that.
Oh my god!
Great doctor.
The Hippocratic oath stops at me getting a shotgun blast to the knee. So
yeah.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay, so if he doesn't seem to be a a risk to us or himself anymore. Let's Faniel, could you help me? Like, let's get him back to town, see if we can't get him treated or at least, like, you know, in a cell or something so he doesn't hurt anybody.
Mm-hmm. And I would go and assist the doctor as best as possible, though I would hand the shotgun off to Val.
Sick. I'll put it in the backpack just for safekeeping for right now.
You might want to actually keep that at the ready. You never know what can jump out of the wilds when we're making our way back to the main town.
Yeah, apparently they just keep rad roaches in closets now, so watch out for that.
Yeah. Hope you weren't having it as a pet. Are you okay? Joseph, are you even here right now?
At this point, he's just kind of like faded out, repeating the same sentence over and over and over. He's not really cognizant of what's going on around him.
Oh no, the Bethesda AI has kicked in. I'm sorry, Joseph, it's over.
He's sinking to the floor.
Yeah, sinking to the floor. There you go.
He's no clipping.
Oh. Can we examine what he was shooting at there? Like I mean, I know it was his picture and everything, but like, what in the heck?
Well, I tell you what, if you want to roll me a intelligence, and let's call this a science here, an intelligence and science, let's call this a difficulty of 2.
Okay, I can do that. That's actually like some of my best skills, and it's my tag. You got it.
Good.
Yeah, I like to enable players now and again.
Roller.
All right,
2.
survey says...
Enough. And a 3.
Huh! All right, well, this is actually another good teaching moment, but for perhaps the wrong purposes. So you have rolled a 20 here, and unlike in D&D, where a 20 is good, 20s are bad. 20 means that there is a complication that takes place. And I think what the complication is going to be is that Joseph tries to make a break for it. And he tries to wrestle free of Faniel and Dr. Worm. And I'm going to let you guys get a check in to stop him. But if you don't stop him, you have no idea what he's about to do. So Faniel, Dr. Worm, I need both of you to decide who is doing the main role, but this is going to be a strength and an athletics. And one of you is assisting the other.
Well, you should do it, Faniel, because Dr. Worm is not having a good time, and he's kind of a lightweight to begin with. So,
fair enough. Just not exactly my best skills either, but let's do this.
Oh God, is that all of our worst skills? I also have nothing in athletics.
What I would say is that the difficulty on this will be a 2. All right, well, you did get the assist. That's good.
My target number for that, by the way, was a 4.
Nice. Hey, and there's another success. So, Faniel and Worm, you are barely able to restrain Joseph as he tries to get up. But what I would say, Valister, yeah, there you go. What I would say, Valister, is even though you rolled a complication, what I'm going to say is that after seeing the reaction of you getting close to the picture, I think it's maybe safe for you to assume, or at least come to the conclusion, that, I mean, if amnesia's in play and he's sort of lashing out at things that are strange and unfamiliar, maybe because he sees himself with an unfamiliar person in a picture, maybe that's causing distress.
Huh. I don't think Joseph knows who this person is.
He has amnesia. Congratulations. Yes, that is a brilliant deduction.
Right, but why would he become so hostile when he does? He doesn't. Wouldn't he become hostile when he sees? I mean, okay, he did. Yes, he did. But he's chilled at the moment.
It's clear there's something else going on here. It's amnesia and then some other concurrent symptom that we haven't figured out yet.
This is very weird.
Now, there's an aberrant hostility towards his wife, I don't know.
Right.
Can we just get him into town already?
Fair enough. All right.
Wait a minute. My leg fucking smarts, and there is no way that I am gonna hop along Cassidy this motherfucker back to Babel Brook. Can we get like a wheelbarrow or something?
Yeah, I'll look around for one here. Give me 1 second.
There's
Just
a conveniently
chuck
placed
him in there.
wheelbarrow off to the right.
Oh, look, a conveniently placed wheelbarrow off to the right.
Oh, how
This'll come in
convenient.
handy.
And as you all get ready to go back to town, I think that is a good opportunity to take a 5 to 10 minute break. So we'll be back very shortly, stream. Stick around. Welcome back, everybody. If you're just tuning in, well, the players have investigated a farmhouse on the outskirts of Babel Brook, and what they have found is a murder that took place because apparently one of the old ghouls in the couple decided to kill their spouse because they had amnesia. And we now rejoin our players as they take that very same ghoul, old man Joseph, back to Babel Brook for medical attention and inspection. At this point, I would say that the sounds of revelry and other sorts of party noises coming from the town have died down. The reason for that is not only because it is getting late into the evening, maybe about 8, 9 o'clock, but in addition, the storm I mentioned earlier, the sort of sounds of the storm coming in, you sort of look to the south and see that a rad storm is blowing in from the glowing sea. Probably not going to be a major rad storm, but it's still not something you want to be caught outside with. And all things considered, you actually don't run in... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
As it doesn't bother me.
Oh, this is true. This is true. You are a ghoul. But as you proceed into the actual town proper, you're not seeing other people. And that's probably a good thing, because the one person that does see you is the mayor, Jesse. And Jesse sort of runs up to you and goes, what are you doing? I said discreetly.
I will delicately gesture to my just torn up left leg.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say,
With all due respect, Mr. Mayor, in this particular instance, with all of the detail that we have at hand, and with our own due discretion that you have granted us in dispensing certain actions in response to this crisis, go fuck yourself.
And I think the mayor is like, I'm sorry, what?
I'm sorry, that's the leg talking. Someone else say something.
Go fuck yourself, Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, as the point of contention here, he shot at us. I mean, man's not right in the head right now, so we're trying the best that we can.
Well, get him into the clinic before someone... Oh, no. I see you, Antoine. I see you. Don't you get... God damn it, he's going to go tell everybody in the town now. Well...
Look.
Oh, shit. Loudmouth Antoine. Oh, that guy tells everyone everything.
Look, he's just going to pass out later, and you can just, we'll draw some genitals on his forehead and say that, he was blitzed out of his mind.
Drunken ramblings after the party, you can shove that under the rug really easily.
Hell, you can say that this guy is wasted too. I mean, how bad can it be?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll go try to handle Antoine. I guess go to the clinic and see what you could do for Joseph here. And your leg. God, just do something about that leg. It looks horrific.
No, it's actually the other leg. I know they both look horrific, but...
And I think Jesse is like, I'm going to go now. And he just starts sliding off to go chase after Antoine.
That's right. You walk away.
Wow.
Oh.
What a nice man. Yeah.
What an incredible racist.
How did he become mayor, you think? And I'll just keep wheelbarrowing as we try and get our way to the clinic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if my knowledge of politics in my long life is going to tell me anything, it's that people love racists.
Oh. People love racists. Okay, got it. That down somewhere. Okay.
It's good for fomenting a power base, exclusion of one group. I mean, why do you think they have to live on the outskirts of town, the gold couple? I mean,
Yeah, that's a good question.
Farming land. Farming land requires a lot of space, and in order for it to be useful, you need to have a wide berth, so you can't usually have a lot of them put together. Plus, the crop rotation would never work in a more enclosed area, such as nearer to the city. Or racism.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to take farming suggestions from you, Mr. Ghoul vapors are definitely a thing.
Again, new knowledge, recent book. It's another scribe trying to push it, but, not all knowledge. Any type of knowledge, no matter how strange or fringe, should be looked at with a spectacle eye and at least given its fair shake.
See, your problem is
it might
that
be fake.
You're reading books. I mean, experiential knowledge, living in the wastes, engaging with the world as it is, rather than having your face buried in one of those books. That's the only way that you can actually learn how the world really works.
I definitely got a taste of that today. Oh my God. And so did you, Doctor. It's all over your chest and on your leg. And, I think I like books a little better. They seem safer. They seem safer.
Yeah, I'm going to have to cast my vote for books too. Yeah, I've never had one of my medical textbooks shoot me in the leg. So,
Well, being able to read probably helps with that. I mean, it's just never a skill that I picked up. But
oh no,
I have offered to teach you no fewer than 12 times, and every time you're like, "Oh, the spirit of the outside world's journey. I gotta go on a vision quest or whatever."
Yeah, you're saying something about the outdoors calls to you, or get bent, idiot, or listen, nerd. If I wanted to read something, I would shit first.
That one doesn't make any sense to me. I think that you're just imagining that. It's the
I didn't
stress.
understand that last one.
No, but I mean, if you want to commune with the natural world, to hear the ghosts of our ancestors and the irradiated spirits of the wasteland,
Here we go again.
That's how you learn how the world functions. I mean,
Like getting high in the waist?
Well, it helps.
Sick, are we in the clinic?
Yeah, I was going to say it's at this point that you pull up to the clinic, and what you see inside is that it's basically a long hallway with curtain rooms off to the side every so often. There's also a actual examining and surgical operating, well, what you could call a surgical theater in post-apocalypse wasteland anyway. And when you sort of poke your head inside and you look sort of at each of the curtain rooms, there's a few people in here with maybe some bumps and bruises. There's a few in here which are obviously sleeping off a major hangover. But what you're all hearing is the sounds of gentle weeping coming from the back of the clinic. And nobody else seems to be moving. Like, there are some sounds of, drunk people moaning and, maybe a few people turning over and snoring in their sleep, but the sobbing seems a little bit weird.
What fresh hell is this?
I think it's called sadness. Someone's very sad. But why?
Another thing I should tell you real quick is that there is a front desk of sorts, and there is also a supply cabinet that sits behind the desk.
Do we know who the doctor is other than our good pal here? The town doctor, the official one, because they didn't want to hire a ghoul because they're racists.
Right. The doctor's name is Dr. Jefferson.
Oh, Dr. I'm going to write that down.
He is just moving on up.
Jefferson. Okay, got it. Possible.
I think Dr. Worm would just he's just going to beeline it straight for the medical cabinet back there and just get gauze and antiseptic, just anything that he can find to treat his left leg.
He's like,
All right.
I don't want to do this. I'm
So,
training myself.
the supply cabinet is locked, but you can attempt to pick the lock by giving me a perception and a lockpick test at a difficulty of 2.
I will do that.
Can
So perception.
I pass
you said?
him? Can I pass him my bobby pin? And be like,
Oh, yeah. Now, does the bobby pin actually... Let me check real quick. Is it
It's really
actually
cheap.
something
It was
that
like
the bobby
1.
pin gives a...
I think it makes it easier.
Yeah, let me check real quick.
Yes, if you tagged lockpick as one of your skills, I think you got a special bobby pin that makes lockpicking easier.
I do have a tag for lockpicking.
Oh, well then maybe you should do the picking, but Worm has to ask for your help first, which I need to hear, because...
Okay. All right.
Worm is not asking for my help for Sherry. He's gonna be like,
Just-
I've been alive for 50, 100 bazillion years. You don't think I don't want to get into a medical cabinet?
I'm going to try it myself first.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I want to see it. I want to see this.
Perception and then lock picking.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, this is actually a good teaching moment because that is a 20. Now, this is where we get into luck. So each of you has your own luck score. It's part of your special. You have a number of luck points equal to your luck score. And what you can do is by spending 1 luck, you can re-roll 1d20 by spending 1 luck.
I have massive luck. Go for it, man.
Which I will do now.
All right. And okay, so this is where it starts to differ from Star Trek Adventures. As far as I can tell, you technically could spend another luck to reroll it again unless I misread. But there is still a limit of, you can only reroll it like up to 5 times or something like that. But a 17 is still not a success.
Okay, another luck it is. I'm going to waste all my luck on a cabinet today.
Damn it.
I don't think a 14 gets you anywhere either.
All right, another luck it is. Here we go. Come on, big bucks, no whammies.
Does a 10 work? It does. You have a 10. You get by the skin of your teeth.
I do, yeah.
First attempt, you just sort of hear a clunk, and you're like, well, son of a... You go for the second attempt, another clunk. You're starting to get a little annoyed. Third attempt, click, and the supply opens up. And inside...
Work, you son of a bitch! He fucking smacks. Like, he just smacked the Russian smack, and it just opens for no reason.
Absolutely, yeah. I definitely fancied that lock. I was just like, come on, you motherfucker, get over it.
Yeah, that the percussive maintenance approach.
Who put a lock on this?
Well, the reason there's a lock on it...
I'll just chuck it on the receptionist desk.
Got it. But the reason there's a lock on it is because inside are the following supplies. There are 2 Radaway, there are 2 Stim Packs, and there are 3 Mentats.
Well, I'm not here to, as would be in my normal Fallout playthrough, to take every goddamn thing. Instead, I'm just going to take the 1 Stim Pack and use it to treat my injury.
All right. So, let me pull up the first aid rules. Let's see. That would be under 33. All right. So, if you do me an intelligence and a medicine at difficulty of 1, you can actually get rid of your leg injury here.
I don't think I could. I think it's still treating it, not getting rid of
it. No, it's still an int medicine. I'm looking at page 34. It's not going to heal your... Oh, I see what you're saying. It is not entirely patched up, but it doesn't impose the penalty anymore is what it is.
And that's exactly what I'm doing. And I'm using the take chem action to bypass having to make that test. So it'll just treat.
I see what you're doing now. Okay. Yeah, right. I gotcha. Okay. So yeah. Yeah, you no longer suffer the banged up
The
leg
limp.
approach. Yeah, banged up limb.
Ah, sweet relief.
Ah, looking better already. Well done.
Don't patronize me. I know I look like shit.
All right.
Well, that's no different than usual. But why didn't you just like find the doctor or a nurse and ask for the key?
Oh yeah, like I'm just gonna let any country bumpkin come in here and take a stim pack to my leg when they'll probably just look at me and screech in fear and grab a torch and run me out of town.
No, I think they use a pitchfork. If our past experience has given us any indication.
Hardy har. Yeah.
Just, yeah.
That was, I mean,
That was dark.
okay.
Yeah.
He has a point. This is, I think I get why you did that. That's fair enough. Let's go and check that weeping person. I just want to. Also, we should probably get our friend here, Joseph, maybe a little bit more treated, or at least set up in a bed. Where's the doctor? I'll look around for the doctor.
And yeah, as you call out medic and look around for the doctor, what you notice is that no doctors walking around, no orderly, no nurse.
That's interesting.
Literally just seems that patients were thrown on beds and then left to their own devices, which is very odd.
The hell is everybody?
Partying?
Not at this hour.
Sleeping off the partying.
Oh, for God's sake.
Well, let's ask someone. I'm going to head around to see if anyone's more cognitive. Probably the weeping person, since they're actively weeping. I assume that they'll be able to.
They're asleep, but they're still weeping.
Yeah, they're still sleeping. What I would say is that the weeping individual is coming from what probably is what you would know as the doctor's actual office, or what fares as their office. The door to that is currently closed, but you are able to find that there is a younger boy, maybe about 7, 8 years old, that is up and cognizant, is responding to your presence. And you would know him as the son of a craftsman in town. You know that this boy's name is George, and he is the son of Tom.
George, son of Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hi there, Georgie. How are you doing, little buddy? Hey, do you know what's going on right now? Why isn't any nurses or doctors in?
Well,
And what are you in for, buddy?
Well, they just brought I sprained my ankle. It was really weird. I was running around, playing with the toys that they brought out for Founders Day, and I
Cut the
banged my
bullshit. Are
ankle.
you doing chems?
No, sir. No, I'm not doing any chems.
You get syphilis? What's going on?
What?
Sir, I'm only 8. I don't even know what syphilis is.
Oh, that's a likely story. I know. Even back in my time, kids were doing it younger and younger. You tell me what little crotch goblin disease you have right now.
Doc! Leave him alone, Doc! No, it's okay. Hey, George, don't look at him. Don't look at scary old mean Dr. Worm. Look at me. Look at me.
Oh, yeah. Man, make the kid a racist too, sure.
I like give you like this small, like dead ass, like 1,000-yard stare, pull up my hands like in a small field goal and just like point to you. And I'm like, stop for 1 second.
All right.
Okay.
I'm sorry, child. I'm under a lot of heavy medication.
It's okay. Daddy said that happens sometimes.
Yeah, I bet it does.
But
yeah.
Do you know who my dad is, by the way? I don't remember my dad's name.
I'm like, I look to everyone. I'm like, you don't remember your father's name?
No. It was really weird. I was playing at the, and he repeats his story almost verbatim once again.
Oh no, he's a Fallout NPC. He only has a sequence of dialogue that he can repeat a couple of times a day. Oh dear God, this whole city needs to be purged. Okay, right. No.
Right.
I looked at them like, oh, interesting. You sit right there. We'll figure this out. Your dad's name is Tom, and I will write it down on a note, and I will just leave it in front of him. You can't read yet. I completely forgot.
I was going to say, he's
That's
going to look
quite
down at the
common.
note and go, I can't read.
That's okay. I'll fold it over and write that. And I'll make a little smiley face. I'm like, there we go. That's for you, buddy. That's for you. Just hang on to that. That's for you. And I will slinker away and go back to them and be like, I think this is getting a lot worse than we initially thought. That kid can't remember who his father is.
Now, Doctor, now that you've thoroughly traumatized the child, and I'm sure that he has no desire to let you near him, maybe you could go and examine him and see if you can find anything that might be wrong with him. Wounds similar to those that we noticed on Joe.
Yeah, I'll take a look.
Great bedside manner. If this is what you learned in your books, I'm glad I didn't touch them.
This is definitely not for the books. No, none of the. They don't say to act like this. This is definitely not from the books.
He learned how to be a doctor from his books. It's exactly where he learned this.
No, Fanuel, please, I swear it's not like this.
Well, Dr. Worm,
sure
if you want to...
It's just Worm's charm. It's just his specific charm.
Well, Dr. Worm, if you want to take a whack at it, go ahead and give me a intelligence and medicine here. But again, teaching moment, I am going to increase the complication range. So now you will create a complication on a 17 to 20.
Okay. Intelligence 8. Medicine 3. Tag skill.
All right. And you got lucky. You only rolled 2 16s, which means no complications. But you also don't find anything that would connect
Spending
George's
a luck
injuries.
point.
Spending a luck. All right.
I have no luck remaining, which, I mean, fits with the rest of this day.
And that is actually a crit. Very nice.
Luck for days.
The
Big
difficulty was only a 1, so you actually do get a action point as well. And what I'm going to tell you is you're not seeing anything that would connect George's injuries to Joseph's injuries. But you are able to run a few cognizant tests, like mental tests, to see, George's response. And what you're getting is the vibe that he has forgotten the important information first, i.e. close familial connections like fathers, wives, things like that. He still remembers his own name, but you are seeing the signs of the same sort of amnesia that Joseph has going on.
Okay.
Ooh, this would be a pandemic. I am real quick. I think my head tracking has melted here for a second. I'm just going to stop my video feed.
All right.
And I will pull it back when I have that going. So keep on it. I just need to reset something real quick.
Go for it.
I'll come back. I will, whatever ratty curtain there is, I'll just pull it back to obscure the child and come back.
Okay. So we have a real pandemic kind of situation going on here. That's 2 patients so far with similar mental issues, and I don't think it's going to stop there. Here's the problem. That kid, untouched. No weird back wounds, no, bitter wives. I mean, I assume he's not married.
One would hope.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how to link the two.
Oh, no. This is getting serious. I'm wondering if we talk to more people, it could be, I look around to the other people. Oh, they're non-cognizant. Or do they all look kind of like, do they have the same expression as our young George here? Is everyone kind of have that lost in like staring off in the distance, wondering who they are and where they are, why they're here sort of expression?
Yep, you got it.
And I'm going to now start to guess that possibly why the doctor is weeping, because he also has forgotten who or where the fuck he is. And now we've also figured out that that's why there's no orderlies or anyone looking after anyone, because everyone's forgotten what the hell they are and why they're here. Shit. Well,
Okay, follow me on this one. Okay. If it's affecting this many people, this many different age groups, and general health, and all this business, there's got to be a common denominator. I think something happened at the party. Maybe drinks got spiked, water supply got poisoned, food has got some kind of weird fungus in it or something.
Wait,
They all got it.
you're right. Georgie said that they brought something out for the Founders Day.
Right.
What did they bring out?
There is one problem, I think, with your theory, and that's that Joe and Teresa, they started showing symptoms before the party.
Oh, crap. Uh-oh. No, it was 2 hours ago, which means it would have still been today, but it was 2 hours ago before she was skewered.
They were on the outskirts, so they wouldn't have been at the party. And
But they got, okay, our initial mission was that there was a break-in and at their location, and there were signs of a scuffle, or at least that's what the mayor was saying. That's the initial report we received. So when we get there, we see horrible situations, nightmares everywhere. We've got one dead wife and one insanely paranoid and confused old husband who happens right there. Hi, Joe. Please take a seat. Sit down. Don't touch anything. And
we can't even get any information from him because he's losing memories left and right.
When did he come in for that treatment, though? Could he have been infected then? Given that they live on the outskirts,
there's got to be records or a ledger around here somewhere.
Yeah, can we look around?
Well, maybe one of you two fine gentlemen who can read will look for that.
Yeah. What I would say...
That's us!
Yeah, that is you.
I say that out loud and I point between me and Word.
What I would say is that based on when you've been in this clinic before, you probably know that the records are kept in the doctor's office proper.
Which is where we have to go and meet our weeping man, the man you were trying to get us towards anyway. I see your threads, Dungeon Master. I see where you're trying to point the carrots.
Listen,
towards.
I only have so many rail tracks. I can only bend them so many times.
It's in the doctor's.
Now, wait a minute. I've played Left 4 Dead. I know we shouldn't go in there.
We definitely shouldn't be going in there, dude.
There's going to be
open dead inside.
Going to be a long-haired woman in underwear who's going to come after us if we make the slightest noise.
Oh, can we listen to the wall? Is he weeping? Is he saying anything besides any cohesive words?
Actually, he does sound rather cognizant. He's basically sort of sobbing and going, "Oh, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? They're not gonna believe me. There's no way the mayor's gonna believe me. But we're fucked. We're totally fucked. What are we gonna do?"
Oh, it sounds like he absolutely knows what the hell is going on.
I'm going to knock on the door.
And you hear the sounds of something hitting something hard, hitting something else hard. And the doctor says, sorry, occupied. Wait, this isn't a bathroom.
Just open the fucking door.
I didn't lock it.
Oh.
You open the door and it just opens.
Oh.
And inside, you see Dr. Jefferson. He's actually in the corner of his office, and he is sort of rocking back and forth a little bit, and is clutching a clipboard to their chest very, very tightly.
Doc, there's some wild stuff going on, and we're looking for answers. We're hoping you have some.
Well,
First of all, who are you? Who's your dad? And what does he do?
Well, my name is Dr. Jefferson. My father was Mr. Kimball, and I think he was a detective.
Right. Okay.
But
yeah, that checks out. I think he's good.
Wow.
And he sort of looks at you very all sort of critically and says, you haven't been affected yet, have you?
Have you? Do you know what's making everyone forget everything?
Maybe. It kind of comes and goes in waves. I will try to be succinct and to the point. And he looks at you, Dr. Worm, very specifically. I thought it was viral at first. I thought maybe there was exposure to a chemical or a bit of radiation or something. But when I investigated it, it wasn't viral. This sort of loss of memory, this amnesia, whatever the hell it is, it's actually been increasing over 2 weeks period. So this wasn't just a first day thing. This has been happening for a while, and I think it's related to the generator, the generator that's keeping everything in Babel Brook green and usable.
Oh no!
But it gets worse. I don't know how to stop the signal it's putting out, but I was able, and he shows you the clipboard at this point, and you see it's a map of where Babel Brook is and sort of the surrounding area. The signal, I had one of the engineers help me. I think it's coming from over here to the west. I don't know what's out there, but the signal that is being transmitted is being bounced off of our generator. Sorry, I know I'm not making a lot of sense right now, but I think whatever is sending the signal, which is causing the amnesia, is coming from out here.
Okay. Some kind of constructive interference. There's a wave and it gets amplified.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not completely ridiculous.
But why would it be affecting people's mental state and what they're doing with, unless psionic in nature? But a mental psychosis attack of this magnitude, there's no way the technology for this hasn't existed in forever. Unless they found what is out there. You don't know. Okay, I have to be there. I have to see this. I have to go there. Where is this? Do you have a map?
He hands you the clipboard with the map on it.
It's right there. We're just looking at it. You were busy
Yes,
monologuing and you didn't see the.
I'm sorry. You're posing a question here, and it was just sort of so interesting. Mine started running foul a little bit. My bad. Okay, this sounds like an intensely strange and very wild thing. If it's what I think it is, this could be really intense. But hopefully it's not. And the only way that we're going to know is to go there directly and find out exactly what is causing this signal. Then shut it off. Easy peasy. Right?
You have to learn how to think inside your own head rather than exposing all of us to that. I think that's going to be part of like growing into manhood when you become an adult. That's something that people tend to learn. Oh,
okay, right. Yes. Keep the thoughts inside.
It's the inside voice.
Right, yeah, thanks. Inside. Thanks, Dad.
Okay. Well, thanks, great granddad. That's wonderful affirmation. I'm glad I have your approval.
I'm gonna inject you with bleach at some point. Just while you're sleeping.
Don't do that.
You know.
I'm one of the only non-racist people here in this town, so that's probably not a good idea unless you want to confirm what they're all saying about ghouls.
Well, as your little spat's going on, you actually hear...
The doctor's like,
Yeah, the doctor's actually gotten that looking far away expression, so the doctor's probably gone at this point. But what you do hear very noticeably is that the door to the clinic is flung open, and you hear it like slam against the wall. And you hear the sound of Jesse's voice, the mayor's voice. And it's a little bit strange. It's not quite his voice, but it also is his voice. It's almost as if it's coming through a recording or a phone. And Jesse says, "Come on, snakes, they're in here somewhere. Let's rattle."
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Dude, he forgot who he is. Or this is much worse, and he's being mind controlled, in which case that's horrifying. Can we peek out to go and have a gander? Oh, it's sneak time. Do we think we should sneak? You guys want to try and sneak this?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yes.
Yeah, I think sneaking's probably the way to go. Why don't you give me a agility and a sneak here? And what I would say is that if you roll a complication, you're gonna want to luck it.
Is that everybody or just
whoever is going to actually be coming out of the office to check on the situation?
I have sneak as a tag skill, so that might be best for me.
That is a genius move. We'll let you do it.
All right.
Then I'll spend 1 action point for an extra die. Actually, no. How dark is it in the facility?
At this point, the good news is that there is electricity to the clinic, so there are sources of light, like from lamps and other sorts of light fixtures. I mean, it's not exactly like the brightest room and place in the world, but you can see.
Okay. Is there any way that we could turn that off, or I guess diminish the illumination in that main room from where we are?
What I would say is that the light controls are conveniently placed across the hallway on the wall next to the doctor's office.
Son of a bitch.
In that case, then, would my ghost talent apply?
Remind me what Ghost does.
If you attempt an agility plus sneak test in shadows or darkness, the first additional d20 that you buy is free.
You know what? I'm going to let you tap that talent. You get a free d20. Okay, now blue means that there is a complication on the field. Yep, you rolled a 20. So do you want to luck that 20?
A crit and a 20.
Yes, so I think I will spend 1 luck point to re-roll that, and I'll just roll that as a d20.
All right. And you get an actual
amazing
crit.
So
Nice.
that's 5 successes.
Yeah.
That is 5. No, isn't that 4? No, you're right. It is 5. So,
wow.
Faneuil, you very quickly steal out into the hallway.
He is the knight.
Yeah, basically, you are the knight. You are Batman. You toggle off the light switch.
We don't have the rights for
And
that.
what you notice is that when you sort of inspect the mayor and the other people that have come into the clinic, their eyes are literally glowing. And they're moving in a mechanical fashion. As in, they are moving in ways that are unnaturally jilted and otherwise sort of janky, if you will.
Dirty sense.
No. Oh, hell.
You also get 3 action points for that, by the way.
Right, and since I didn't spend 1 to get that die, I think we're at cap.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there another exit, like down the hallway from where we are? Is there like a back exit to this place? Or is the only way of egress blocked by this, presumably the synths?
Well, another teaching moment. One of the other luck spends you can do is called Luck of the Draw, and you can add a detail to a scene. So, for example, you could spend a luck point to put a window in the doctor's office, or a back door, or something like that.
That's hype. I like that. That's so cool.
I think that's exactly what I'm going to do then. So there is looking out on the rear courtyard because the doctor's office is in the back of the facility, I believe we were told. There is a rear-facing window through which we can shimmy.
All right. So in that case, what I'm going to need is we're going to let Faneuil's 5 successes stand, but for Valister and Dr. Worm to get out, I will need to see a agility and a sneak from both of you at a difficulty of 2. So you might want to spend action points on this one if you're not really a sneaky
And we're
type.
at 6. Yeah. We're at 6. Okay, I will definitely spend at least 1 for it here. I'm pretty confident in my sneak. It's not any kind of like tag skill that I have for it, but I have a pretty decent bonus. How about you, Doc? What do you think?
I will spend 1 as well.
Okay.
To get that additional d20. Agility and sneak.
Agility.
All right. Well, that's 1 success for the good doctor. So you don't have any luck, so that'll be interesting.
Am I allowed to use my luck to reroll his stuff?
No, unfortunately, luck is specific to you. So it's not something like where you can make him reroll.
I see. And sneak is also pretty good. Let's go.
Okay, so I think we can do this as another teachable moment here. And this might be me more leaning on Star Trek Adventures than it is on the Fallout system, but there is a concept called succeeding at cost, where you still succeed, but there's a complication that comes into play. So I think
no,
what happens...
that's
go
in the
ahead.
book, yeah.
Oh, so I'm not imagining it. Good.
No, I do remember reading that, yeah.
Okay. So what's going to happen is Faniel, Valister, Dr. Worm, you're going to get out the back door, but the complication is while you were quiet, at this time, the rad storm that I mentioned earlier is starting to kick up tremendously. So good news, it's probably going to mask your traveling out of town. Bad news, you're going to have to start dealing with some radiation.
Shit. I mean,
Delicious.
I was gonna say, like, yeah, you're gonna get some free healing, I think, but me and Faniel are gonna have a shit time.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I tell you what, we've been going for now 2 hours. Let's take another 5 to 10 minute break, and then we'll come back for the third and final part. So stick around. Welcome back, everybody, to part 3 of our Fallout one-shot. If you're just tuning in, the player characters have found out that not only is a strange signal the cause of the amnesia that has been infecting the town's residents, apparently there's also the Institute's synths in play. But in a masterful display of agility and stealth, they were able to avoid a fight with a mare-turned-synth. Unfortunately, this does now mean that they are traveling to discover the source of the signal that is causing the amnesia in the first place, in the middle of a rad storm, which now brings us to the current moment. So best I can tell you, there is no hard mechanics for a rad storm, so we're going to treat it like this. For every hour you guys spend out in the rad storm, I'm going to be rolling 2 challenge die, or 2 combat dice, I should say, of radiation damage. Now, radiation damage is a little bit different than other damage. It doesn't actually take away from your health. It reduces your max health, is what it does. And the only way to get rid of it is Radaway or other chemicals which you sort of left in the supply cabinet. So just keep that in mind. However, what I would say is that you can speed up your journey by succeeding on a series of tasks. So, first thing I need to know, who has the highest survival?
Gotta be Faniel.
I have a 3 and it's tagged.
I actually have the same because the ghoul gives you survivor tag.
Okay, then why don't we have, you guys can decide who's doing the main role, but one of you is assisting the other. I would like you to roll me an intelligence and a survival, please. And the difficulty on this will be a 2.
I think it's in keeping that Faniel should probably do the
My
thrust
intelligence
level.
is terrible. I can't read, as you may recall. So intelligence is not Faniel's game.
All right, then I will roll then, because my intelligence is the top step.
All right, let's see what you get.
So 2 d20s. I'm going to purchase another d20.
Okay.
And I'm assisting with that?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Am I also allowed to assist? I've just looked it over. My survival is also it's a 3 also, and I have a 9 in, so this is actually pretty good rolling for this, actually.
Yeah, what I would say is that you probably want to do the assist instead of Faniel, simply because you can only have 1 assist on a roll. So
you can.
Yeah, that's how they limit you from the party just stacking on assist after assist.
Ah, smart. You definitely can get away with that in D&D, but not here. Oh, he rolled fantastic. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm just afraid that I'll like roll a 20.
Roll a 20.
Luckily, I have tons of I'm just gonna do like a roll, I guess, right? Like 1d20, like R, 1d20, is 1d20. Oh,
and I'm assuming 8 is a success, so you actually get that action point back. Nice. So Dr. Worm and Valister working together, you look at the map that you were given and you realize that if you take sort of a northerly approach, you kind of do a parabolic arc from the town to the north and then you curve back around to the south, you actually will be able to use the hills in the area, the caves in the area, as points of shelter as you proceed towards the source of the signal. So what I'm going to do is, actually, you know what? Let's do this way. Valister, I would like you to roll me a d6, please. Just a standard d6. And this is going to represent how many hours are knocked off of your journey. All right, so of 6 hours this was normally going to take, it's now only going to take 3. Which now comes to the second part of how you can reduce the amount of time you spend in a rad storm. If everybody is able to pass a strength and an athletics check at difficulty of 2, I will then make it in only an hour of travel time.
Oh my god.
Okay.
You know, half of us are weenies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Weenie Hut Juniors over here.
Super Weenie Hut Juniors, possibly even.
Yeah.
We could.
Two successes between all of us.
No, each of you needs 2 successes.
Oh, dear
Yeah,
God.
that's no fucking
no,
way.
no.
All right. Well, in that
way.
case, let me roll the challenge dice to see what sort of radiation damage you are dealing with here.
Could I make an argument for something?
Sure. Before I roll, what you got?
Perception survival, in that I'm guiding them, not using the map, but my familiarity with the environment based on my numerous hunting trips out into the wilds. So it's like determining the best path based on land formations on the ground rather than the map. So maybe that shaves an hour off with 2 successes.
I tell you what, I'll do it this way. If you're able to pass a difficulty of 3, I'll let it be the hour. How does that sound?
I think that's entirely fair.
Take that entire pool and just make it happen.
Then, well, the doctor actually wants to stay out here for as long as possible because this is
Of
like
course
a
he
warm shower. But
It's delightful.
I will spend 3 action points to get 2 extra dice.
All right.
And so that would be 4 dice. Special of 8 and skill of 3 that is tagged.
All right, let's take a look what you got. I do see a 20.
Oh.
So you did
do you have
succeed. You
luck?
got the 3 successes, but do you want to luck that 20?
I don't think so, but could I suggest the complication that results?
I will always take complication suggestions. What you got?
Okay. As I'm guiding the party through a narrow ravine or something like that we're using to skirt around the printed map, so a shortcut that I have identified, I slip, and in attempting to assist the doctor, given his fragile status and the lingering effects of his wound, and let's say I suffer 4 challenge dice worth of damage.
I think 4 is a little much. How about we do 3 challenge dice?
You know what? I am perfectly comfortable suffering less damage.
Okay.
Okay.
You're only going to suffer 2 points of damage as you fall in the ravine and needing assistance. But even with your little accident in the ravine, you are able to get there within an hour travel time. So what that means is I'm only rolling 2 radiation damage. All right, so what that's going to mean is Valister and Faniel, you're going to take 3 radiation damage, so your max HP goes down by 3. And Dr. Worm, if I recall the ghoul rules correctly, you actually heal 3.
Well, this is actually a question I want to ask, because the way that it's worded is slightly odd to me. It says you regain 1 HP for every 3 points of radiation damage inflicted upon you.
Then you would heal
So-
1 in this instance.
Yes, but would I mean, technically I'm still taking the radiation damage, which should lower my maximum HP.
I see the confusion. So no, actually, you as a ghoul, you are immune to radiation. I don't think
Oh,
they
that's right.
actually...
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah. You are immune to radiation damage. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right. Because
No.
the way that was worded, I was like, wait a minute, you'd reach a point where that makes no sense.
Right.
Yeah, that would just be a bell curve of awful. But okay, cool. Yeah, so you don't take any, and you just heal your regular wounds.
Good.
Another question that comes up: my clothing naturally has a ton of radiation resistance, so it has
then that would reduce it. That would definitely reduce it.
fantastic. So literally in every single area upon my body, it is radiation resistance 2. So does that mean I only take 1 max health damage?
You got it.
Ah, big brain, big think.
And I'm just going to pretend I did that to see who was paying attention to their character sheets, and not that I totally forgot that radiation damage resistance was a thing.
Oh, yeah.
we go.
You know.
Oh.
Little baby HP goes down to almost less than double digits.
Mhm. All right. So, after about an hour's journey through the rad storm, you do eventually arrive at a rough location where you think the signal is coming from. And what you see is actually just this sort of fortified compound, almost like a bunker, that's quite literally located in the middle of nowhere. Around the bunker is tall, pale grass that is blowing in the strong winds from the radstorm. And what you see is that the steel building beyond the grass, the building does not have any windows. It has only a single wide metal door. And there is what could be a raider, just a standard sort of wasteland raider, just sort of standing outside, very motionless, very still, and seemingly giving no fucks about the radstorm around them. You also see that sort of in the interior, so the door is slightly ajar. What you see in the interior, there looks to be some sort of a barrel with might be fire in it. But that's what you see, and you don't really hear much over the storm. I mean, you can obviously converse with one another, but you don't like hear a conversation or anything.
Yeah. That's a trap.
Do they need to trap us?
Given that we're just walking in, I suspect no.
Yeah.
Why is he just standing? Right, it's affecting his mind. Okay, so he's made to being. So it's probably he doesn't even know where he is. He probably doesn't.
Yes, right. He's being mind controlled, and he's basically got double cancer at this point. That's right.
Look, I'm about to have cancer unless we get indoors. So please, can we figure out how we're going to get in there?
You got to stop smoking. That's the problem.
You're hilarious.
Thank you.
Okay, let's think this through here. Are there any other points of entry aside from the one that he's guarding?
I actually was waiting to see if someone asked that exact question. So, Mr. Vallister, I would like you to roll me a perception and a repair test, please. Difficulty of 2.
Here is one of my skills. One of my tags. Okay, let me go in. So that is perception, general, difficulty of 2. Ooh, we have 1 point left. And this is to get a different way to get inside. Would you guys mind if I took that last one to go and see if I can try and make sure that we can find a different way other than ye old raider fight?
I think it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Boop. Perceptionatus. Gonna be at that 6. And we've got a repair skill of a big 3 with a tag.
And that 3 is a success. That 3 is a double success, so you get the 2 required. Very nice.
Oh, hell yeah! Let's go, 3. Good work, little buddy.
All right, so actually, Vallister, what you notice is that there is an open air duct near the back of the facility. So like along the eastern ledge or the eastern side of the compound, just out of sight of the guard at the door, there is a broken AC unit with an air duct that leads inside. And that air duct is big enough for even a super mutant to go in there. So you could easily go through there.
They're all getting double cancer.
2 air vents on the roof. That's what the guy was talking to. Shit. Hell yeah. I'll relay this. See there? Possibly using that pipe and some clever climbing, we might be able to get on top of the building, and that big ass air duct is our ticket inside.
Oh, my leg is already screaming in complication.
And my hair
sure?
is going to start falling out. I mean, I'm going to look like the doctor in a few minutes. So please, let's.
Time to roll.
Oh yeah, let's take the opportunity to make fun of the medically challenged again.
You literally look way better than you did before. Are you sure this stuff isn't like making you feel good?
Listen, we can't go into that. There's a whole. I'm not gonna. We're in the middle of a goddamn storm. I'm not gonna take 20 minutes to explain radiation to you. You're what, 15?
17, but close enough. Let's get in there.
All right. So what I'm going to say.
Head to that roof. Yeah.
Yeah, what I was going to say. So normally the adventure says this is supposed to be a difficulty 2 for everybody. But you are literally doing this in the middle of a rad storm, meaning you can make some noise. So what I'm going to say is that it's going to be an agility and a stealth test at a difficulty of 1 for everybody.
We can
I'm fine
pull
with
this
that.
off. We can absolutely pull this off. Stealth, stealth. Here comes the stealth.
Stealth is not a skill, but sneak is.
Oh, okay.
All right, that's 1 success for the good doctor.
Got my 1.
Agility, stealth.
Agility and stealth, yes. Or sneak, or whatever the S word is.
That's 4 successes for me.
And yeah, okay, so that's 4 from you and 2 for Valister. So total, I believe that gets you, what, 5? 4? Am I mathing that right?
1.
3 if
Yeah, I think it's 3.
yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I would say that, again, using the Radstorm to your advantage, you get close to the facility and hop in the air duct and make your way inside.
Let's go, boys. Big brain.
What I would say is, after traversing through the air duct for maybe about 5 minutes, you see that it opens up at a floor level. And when you step out, what you see is something extremely unexpected. And what I mean by that is
Jeff
that,
Goldblum.
well, not Jeff Goldblum, but what you see is that there is almost like a greenhouse. There's this large artificial sun that shines down from the ceiling. And the single large room is an exact replica of the town square of Babelbrook. There's also, in the very center of the town square, there's a tall, spiraling, spinning machine of blinking lights that is otherwise unguarded or otherwise really tended to. It's just sort of sitting there.
What the fuck?
I'm not that kind of scientist, but I think that's what we're looking for.
Is this old world tech?
Is it old world tech?
Yeah, asking GM here. Is this old world tech? Is this shit that I would know about? Is this?
I think it would be. I'd give it to you.
Is this the Gekt? Is this the Gek? Sorry, not the Gekt, but the Gekku?
What I would say is it's not a Gek specifically, but it is meant to carry the same signal that a Gek has.
Holy shit, what the fuck? Okay. Can we examine this further? Can I try and glean any knowledge, any information from this here? You said we could do something, spend something in order to get the information, because you just would tell us, right?
Yeah,
this
if
might
you
be a
give
time
me
in.
one action point, I just tell you the information.
Let's do it. I say that we have 4 of these bad boys. I want the info. What do we got?
All right. Well,
what am I looking at?
Let's be very specific here. So you have to ask me a specific question, and then I will answer that question for the action point. So it's not just a tell me everything spend. It's a what do I specifically want to know spend.
Okay, let's think about this here in a proper wording way so we can't genie trap give us the weird info and be like, haha, well, that's a door. And then it's like, I've answered your question. It's like, you scumbag. Okay, how do we
I'm not that evil, but I like where you're thinking.
Well,
sorry, I'm used to dealing with Ifrits. It's okay.
The obvious question, I think, would be how do we disable it, right?
That's a cool question.
Safely.
Okay. Is that the question you want to go with?
What do you think?
That's just a suggestion. I mean, we have other. I mean, we can get other info.
We could also drop down and examine the machinery a little bit more carefully and closely to get a sense of what it is through a cursory examination, and then spend a point or an action point to bear down on that.
100%. That's also a really good idea. Is there a machine console or computer terminal nearby to get any kind of console information from as well?
I'll tell you what, I'll give it to you for free. This won't actually cost your question, but you do see that there is a control console that is built into the fountain that is in the town square.
Son of a bitch. Okay, before we start asking questions, let me rummage through that a bit. I have the hacker trait, which makes hacking checks a lot easier, and also science is one of my tags. I think it's time to start digging deep inside of what this terminal has and what it can do. Maybe there's a reference manual inside of there, like an entry code that's just like user terminal. Haha, here's how to use basic stuff, right? Possibly. Yeah. You never know.
It would be very Fallout of you. But yeah,
would be
let's see. Let's have you do a intelligence and a science, and hacker reduces by 1 difficulty, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
So it was initially going to be a 4, so it's now going to be a 3 difficulty. And you didn't actually ask the question yet, so you still have that 1 action point from before.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see what we can find here. So this is difficulty 3. Asking the question is going to cost us that 1, which means we'll have 3 left. Do you guys think it's worth it to spend the remaining 3 and leave that 1 for the question on trying to get in there and get the actual information what they have in the terminal?
I think so, yes.
I also have all of my luck points, all 7 of them, waiting and ready to re-roll this as much as we may need.
Accessing the terminal would be, even if all we find is information, that's got to be priority, because if fingers crossed we find the button that just turns this thing off quietly and then we leave.
Oh, Brook, that'd be so nice. We just head back off that roof. Don't have to get our legs shot in. Don't have to get eaten by rad roaches. Don't have to get eaten by synths. God, their teeth. Okay. You never know, man. No, they don't. No, they probably don't.
Some of them do, like law of averages or whatever. Some of them
There's got to be one like cannibal synth.
Yeah.
But then he'd be eating machines.
Now simulating mastication function. All right, let's go and do it.
That's my favorite deathcore band is Cannibal Synth.
Nice.
All right, here we are. We brought that. That gives me a massive 4 dice. With a big, so this was a int plus science, correct?
You got it.
This is I think my best possible roll with tags, with everything. We got 3 boys.
You got the 3 you needed. So in, again, classic Fallout fashion, you're going to get the following options presented to you once you break through the very weak encryption that is on the terminal. So first you see scientist notes is one thing. The next thing you see is control node. And then the third thing you see is replicants.
Replicants?
Wait a minute. This is a stealth Blade Runner adventure. This isn't Fallout at all. What a bamboozle.
Wait a second. Son of a bitch, we're in Blade Runner. All right.
All we have to do is tell the control module that there's a turtle on its back and it needs help.
Okay, so I say we start with scientist notes. That's probably where the notes are being held. Let's start there.
Okay. So what you see is that inside, I'm not going to spend 20 minutes detailing the full logs, but
please
basically what you find out is that Chief Scientist Thompson is what he calls himself. Thompson apparently is trying to carry out something called the Institute's master plan. Now, again, in character, I think we decided off screen that not everybody's heard of the Institute, so this might be new information for your character. But Thompson is one of those pragmatic evil villains where he, of course, explains his plan in meticulous detail. Obviously. Apparently, the Institute is trying to make synthetic replicas of humanity because humanity is almost extinct. But if you put all of humanity in replicant cybernetic bodies that can survive nuclear fallout and radiation, humanity can live on, kind of a thing.
I will look horrified and also bewildered and also intrigued that is the route that this insane man is trying to do things in.
And slightly aroused.
Wow, I didn't know that was possible. Sick. Okay, so that's the main scientist notes for it there. Mm-hmm. So next we have replicants, and next we have control node. So without clicking buttons to like initiate anything for it there, because I assume there's usually like a yes or no option for it. Do either of them give more details about what the function to do for, say, replicants would do? Or is that just like a list of replicants?
So actually, when you pull up the replicant menu, you see a list of every single name of people who live in Babel Brook. And it's almost like a table where there's kind of a column that is either yes or no. And you see that maybe about 50% of the list is checked yes. But when you get to say your name, Valister in the list, it's checked no. Same goes for Worm, same goes for Faniel. But for comparison, if you were to say go to Jesse the mayor's name, that is checked yes.
Jesse Ventura. Got it.
Well, good.
What is it? What do you say?
Oh, crap. Okay. I begin recanting in the fashion, my, standard a boyish charm. And well, you see, well, it turns out that what's been going on is this kind and insane man here, it's Chief Scientist Thompson, who works for some place called the Institute, is initiating his Save Humanity plan. Yeah.
God.
His Save Humanity plan is to somehow, through old world technology, take humans that are real and turn them into, I'm just going to see if I'm reading this correctly, synthetic replicants that are robotic beings that are just immune to radiation, and that way humanity can live forever. It's got a big list here of who in the town is a replicant or not. Good news, all three of us aren't on the list. Bad news, half the town is a yes. Oh, okay.
It's at that point that from behind Dr. Worm, because I find it funny to pick on Hex sometimes, there's a voice that comes from behind Dr. Worm, and I'm going to do a horrible impression, but a voice says, well, I wouldn't quite have put it that way, but perhaps I can spread some illumination upon what you're talking about there, laddie.
I will turn and pull my gun towards the voice, which just makes me look like I'm pointing at Worm.
Well,
Whoa.
As you turn and look behind you, Dr. Worm, there is a comically old individual. I'm talking bent over with a cane and a lab coat, kind of old individual, balding, with sort of that, it's the top part of his head is bald, but he kind of has that fringe that sort of goes around, and it's this big, poofy white hair, almost like Dr. Wiley. There we go, Dr. Wiley.
Okay. Dr. Wiley.
He sort of smiles in a very tooth-missing way and says, well, I'm glad you managed to make it. This will make making your replicants much easier.
Oh, crap.
In character, I mean, I don't want to be a murder hobo at this, but in character, I think that Faniel would just pull out his throwing axe and lob it.
No, I think that's entirely in character. I think that's good.
This will make killing you easier. Oh, well, we don't want that. Faniel attack mode, go.
I had some doubts about throwing this, but now they're all gone.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, so Faniel, this is a very, very important roll because it's either going to mean a combat encounter or you stop the combat encounter before it happens. So let's break it down.
Holy shit.
The defense is going to be a 1, so it's your base difficulty on this attack is a 1.
1 success.
For throwing, all you need to again roll is going to be a agility and a throwing. Now, what I'm going to say is that based on the fact that the chief scientist is behind Dr. Worm, the complication range will be a 17 to 20. And what I would also say is if you do enough damage to his head, then let's just say you've effectively knocked him unconscious.
I don't suppose there'd be time to use a minor action to aim before I...
If you give me 1 action point, I will let you aim.
And can I give you action points as I would threat in Star Trek Adventures?
That's another teachable moment. So, best I could tell, there is actually a limit on what you can give the GM in terms of action points. And if I recall correctly, you can only buy additional D20s with giving the GM action points. So it's not like threat where you could just use it always in place of momentum. It's very, very specific on what you can give the GM.
In that case, if it's okay with the group, I would spend the 1 action point that we have to take the minor action to aim, and then give you 1 action point to roll 3 dice on the attack.
Noted.
Yeah,
I'm down.
Do it. Kill Dr. Wiley.
Yep.
All right, that is 2 successes, which is what you need to hit him in the head. So now we have a very important roll. He doesn't have any damage resistance in the head. So you need to do 5 damage here. And remember,
Is this guy mutated or because he's got the hunter?
That's what I was going to ask is, can you go over the list of tags for me again?
So the exact wording is, when you make an attack against an NPC with one of the mammal, lizard, or insect keywords and the mutated keyword, your attack gains vicious.
Okay, so unfortunately that will not apply here.
Ah, crap.
Okay, again, teachable moment. You can use your luck to re-roll up to 3 combat dice if you so wished. It's 1 point of luck for 3 re-rollable combat dice. And I tell you, all you need is 1. All you need is 1.
How many times can that be done?
I actually looked it up. Supposedly you're supposed to take the result you get after the luck so that you don't just spend all your luck at once. So that's on me. That was a misinterpretation of the rule. But what that means is your next reroll, whatever it is what you have to live with.
Okay. Then I will reroll the 0 for 1 point of luck.
Here we go.
Very important roll.
Fuck!
All right, so let's talk time here because we have about 15 minutes before we have a hard stop, and I do want to sort of do out of session things. So let me put it to you this way: would you rather we end on a cinematic note where you all go down fighting synths and we sort of leave it ambiguous as to whether you succeed or not, or do one of you want to spend one of your luck points to give me an explanation as to why the doctor goes down in a single hit?
Mechanically, I do have one thing.
Sure.
I didn't re-roll the failed die from my aim.
That is true.
So let me do that. And that would be a pass.
That would have been another action point, yes.
So with that action point, I would have added another challenge die.
I'll let it happen. Go ahead.
Okay. No.
Apparently the dice gods just aren't having it tonight.
I tried.
Okay, it's okay.
I have no more luck, so I can't help it.
I have all 7.
All right. Well, I think it's going to fall to you then, Benno.
So
why does the doctor go down?
Spend all 7 luck to have his head just explode. There was a small microcharge implanted in his head.
This is that one time he's thrown his axes with high-tech precision every single moment beforehand. But this is the one where the axe splinters, shatters, and pushes the broken pieces after it's cut his head open further into his brain. But he loses the axe. So who cares about the axe at this point? We're done the session anyway, but it just shatters upon impact and embeds itself into him. And as if to deny this man with every piece of his soul, I will not be a fucking synth. He destroyed his weapon on impact. His lucky tomahawk that he's had since he was a boy, it's gone forever, and he'll never be able to retrieve it. But in doing so, he has stated to this decrepit old beast of a man,
and
I
God
deny
himself.
you. Yeah, I deny you, and I deny your ways.
You okay with this, Matthew?
I accept every ounce of that. Just every word.
I love it. So yeah, you huck the axe, and I'm not going to describe that again because Benno did a much better job than I could. But the old scientist goes down, just limp to the ground with no noise made.
I love the idea that he's just like, yes, time to turn you into ow. And
Yeah,
he's just,
pretty much. Pretty much.
Is this blood? Is this my blood?
it goes like entirely limp, like a Skyrim NPC.
Just straight onto his face.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. I could have also went the meme route and been like, yes, this is it. It's at this point that the Bethesda AI loses it, and the axe hits so well that he like ragdolls through the building
the
and
roof,
is like in another instant.
There you go.
Bless you, Todd. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. Thanks again, buddy.
Well,
Everything just works.
What I would say is that when you go back to check the terminal, when you check the control node, you have the option of turning off the machine, turning on the machine, or overloading the machine.
Oh, if we turn it off, it'll be safer now, but those bad boys can come back and stop. I've seen this option before. This is classic as fuck, dude. This is super classic. Holy shit. Well, fuck that guy. I'm glad oh, wow. You really, great shot there, Faniel. Damn. We have one last trip to make here. I definitely don't want to be a synth. And I know I can tell that you don't want to be either, Fanuel. I don't even know if they can make you a synth, Doc. But we have two choices ahead of us. One, make sure that this thing turns off, or we can overload the entire facility so that it's gone for good. However, we may also get caught up in the blast, explode, and die ourselves.
How much worse could this day get?
I'm spending one action point that a rad roach, a small one, drops onto Dr. Worm's head.
God damn it! Get it off!
And this time, I will just try to like brush it off rather than hack.
Yeah, it's small enough you could just sort of.
Gee,
How much worse could this day get?
Okay. Blow this fucking building to kingdom come. I'm done. Let's
wait.
leave.
Yeah, why don't you two leave? I'm the fittest one here. Leave. If there's like a one button thing that I can press,
yeah, I'll set it up here. Then I'll let me mark it down here.
Fine, great. I'm already leaving.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, there we go. So, and then I'll take some pieces of paper and just like put it around the button, like this one, put some arrows. It's this one right here. This is the one. Let's follow where the arrows. Okay. All right. Don't have to do anything else except for click that and then get the hell out. All right, here we go. And then I'll hustle off through the vent. Wow, we really skipped this entire fucking facility. Damn, we're gamers.
All right. Well, as we come to a cinematic end, Vallister and Dr. Worm sort of look at the facility from a safe distance, and we see Fanuel leaving the air duct, putting on a pair of sunglasses that he got from Lord knows where, as the facility explodes behind him, and Fanuel does not look at explosions. He just keeps walking.
We're all wearing sunglasses.
Yeah, there you go.
And yeah, that is the end of the adventure. You have saved Babelbrook. You have defeated the Evil Institute, and that is where the adventure ends. What did you guys think? Did you enjoy it? It sounds like you did.
That's sick. That's actually a really cool intro, and the fact that that's in the back of the book, that's a starter when you get to play. I think new players, especially ones who have never gotten to play the experience for it there, will really have a great time with it. And this super feels like Fallout. They did it. This is well composed. I've never played this system before, but this is fun. This is really sick. The shared pool works perfectly fine. I'm used to playing with people that are absolutely, like super big team players. I don't think I've ever played with anyone that's a bit of a dick or anything for it there, but like, it just makes sure like, hey, do you think we should do this? 100%. Or like maybe we should save it or something of that nature. But just, God damn, this is a well done system. Beautifully executed. Wonderful. I had a blast.
That's what I like to hear. What about you, Matthew and Hex? What did you guys think?
I would say that coming from a Star Trek adventure system, there are a number of great similarities, but I do like the way in which they balance difficulty, I think, a little bit better than in Star Trek Adventures, in terms of the combination of attributes and skills, and the relative difficulty of tasks being scaled to the new level of attributes and skills. And I think that it's a little bit more manageable than Star Trek Adventures. So
fair critique. And Hex?
I hated it. Yeah. It was a waste of mine and everyone else's time. No, we were talking about this earlier. Some of the other 2D20 systems, for my taste, are kind of loaded down with too many meta currencies, right? Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of pools of things that you have to keep track of. And thankfully, like Benno was talking about, like this feels like Fallout. Plus, they managed to do some streamlining as well to cut down on that. What feels a little bloat, right? Mm-hmm. And they kept the hit locations, which is great. And the action point system, like again, that feels very Fallout like. So yeah, I'm very pleased with it. I think it's one of the more easily grokkable 2D20 variants, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, coming from no experience to do D20s, this is sick.
Well, we'll have to bring you back for another adventure in the future, is what I just heard.
No, never again.
So, a few quick things before I end the recording, and then we'll find something to raid. So, game masters that just watched or listened to what just happened, I do need to be very clear on a few points. The players went off road about the moment they saved Joseph. You're not supposed to let Joseph live. Let him live. It's more interesting if you let Joseph live. And let's just say the players avoiding the synth fight, let that happen if they figure out how to do so. Because the adventure itself wants you to fight the synths. They want you to fight Joseph to the death. As you just saw and heard, it's sometimes more interesting and more fun to just let the players avoid the fights, which, again, is very Fallout. But yeah. This is going to end the recording. So Twitch, stick around, but YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you later. Bye, YouTube.
See ya, smooth skins.
Later.